Hello and welcome to Red Shirt Cinema Club, a weekly podcast about watching movies with friends. And welcome to my childhood, as we watch the first in a series of movies that has proved incredibly influential on my life. Star Wars has shaped my friendships, my family, the places I've been, and at times the way I've felt over days and weeks. It's brought incredible joy and exhausting frustration, but it's always been there, and it starts here, right in the middle, Episode 4, A New Hope. Hello and welcome to Red Shirt Cinema Club. My name is David Jackson, your fantastic host, joined as always by Nathan Dighton.
Hello.
And Robert Pearson.
Hello.
And if I sound chipper today, it's because I'm loving life. We have just watched Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. And my God, it's given me hope.
Really? You enjoyed it?
I loved it. Skipping ahead, I loved it.
No preamble, no bullshit.
I'm slightly hoarse from cheering as all the amazing stuff that happens in this movie.
That was the Christmas party.
It was also the Christmas party. And also, little side note to our commanders who've listened to our bonus episode, cheering 2 new Star Wars games announced.
I know.
And do you know what? I think talking about Star Wars games has got me really hyped. I'm just like, I want more Star Wars games. One of them's a racer. I'm not a big racer, but I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
It can't hurt me, Nath. A Star Wars racer can't hurt me.
It can. Mick McCarthy.
It can. It wouldn't dare. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Released first in 1997.
Wow.
No, 1977. I think it was re-released in 1997. Written, directed, produced by George Lucas. And the world changed. He definitely exec produced it. And the world changed that day.
It did.
In ways that George Lucas didn't foresee. Do you know he actually went to Hawaii for the release because he thought it was going to be a massive flop and he just didn't want anything to do with it.
He went on holiday with Steven Spielberg.
I mean, he had a horrible time making this movie, and yeah, he actually had to go to the doctor. He thought he was having a heart attack. He had like hypertension or something, and he went on holiday.
Few years. I think every film was this stressful for him. Each one was really successful. He got divorced somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Then he stopped making it. That's why he stopped making films. But that's not what we're here to feel like.
It's not what we're here to feel like.
We're here to feel joy.
And what do we feel like? Rob,
let's be quick on
a
Rob.
Big Star Wars fan.
Unless he's effusive, let's be quick.
How did you feel about watching A New Hope this time?
I thought it was a fascinating watch. I thought especially it's so rare to see something of a franchise of the size of Star Wars, but to see in the performances and just how it's put together, it's such an unassuming film.
Yeah.
Like there is no presumptuousness in it. There is no one's looking at the camera and being like, yeah, that's right. No one knows they're making what is going to be the starting point of it's so weird. You're looking at the performances of people, and as they're giving you the performances that you are watching, you're watching people who have no idea what they're in.
No.
And for a Star Wars film, I think that's quite fascinating and cool.
When was the last time you watched it, Rob?
Probably 4 or 5 years ago. I thought the same thing that I've always thought about it. I think it's just fine. It's all right. It's quite, it's quite unambitious. It feels quite unambitious, or at least quite reserved in what it's trying to do. There aren't many sets. Like, starts on Tatooine, then they go to the Death Star, then they have a fight in space.
Yeah.
The end. And it's just a coming together of 3 core characters, but also with Darth Vader and Obi-Wan on the side. Just again, like a bunch of characters who, for whatever reason, and I've thought about this a few times, and I think you get a similar thing with Final Fantasy VII in terms of video games. Why is it that these 3 characters in the first Star Wars film are so good? And I don't actually know why it is. It's just, I enjoyed my time watching it, but as always, whenever I watch this film, I'm just like, yes, that's quite a good film. And I would not have foreseen, if I'd have seen this in 1977, I wouldn't have been like, oh my God, this is going to be the start of probably the biggest movie franchise in the history of cinema.
I think it's good to have heard from Rob, isn't it? Thanks.
Thanks for coming on to you can be quiet for the rest of the time. No, I think I hear what you're saying. I think it's hard to know how you would have felt about it in 1977 because, as we always struggle with, I mean, the context of the time, this was a breath of fresh air, doing things visually that people had never seen before. And I do think the characters, I think, for someone who doesn't like writing, and George Lucas, I think he's written some fantastic relationships.
Yes.
As much as anything. As when Princess Leia and Han Solo get together in this movie, and they are just riffing off each other.
It's pronounced Leia.
It's pronounced several different ways, I wouldn't trust General Dodonna or whoever it is who says Leia, but their banter, I think, is so excellent and just really highlighted for me last night. Just that's what's great. C-3PO and R2, their relationship is so fun.
That's good.
Luke and Han have a great. Luke and all the human characters have a great relationship. Han and Chewie, obviously, like, it's just a bunch of brilliant relationships, and the different with each of the characters. Those are sort of like as I said, the highlights I picked out, and I think that is what makes that group of people so special. It's the way they react to each other and live with each other. Nath, what did you think watching it this time?
Quite similar to you, actually, Dave. I really enjoyed it, and also quite similar to Rob. I was sort of trying to watch it through new eyes. I'd not seen it for quite a long time. I can't even remember the last time that I sat down and watched the whole thing. And I think just the process of doing this podcast and trying to think of things in as fresh a context as possible was interesting. And I was looking at the sets and the scope of it, and the kind of the nuts and bolts of how it was structured and paced. It zips along, even though it's 2 hours long, it zips along certain sections which really stick in my mind. And again, you go back to that thing of there's no way that they could have known what they were making.
No.
So just the decision to they get the Death Star plans, for example, and then they have a quick briefing, and then they're on the attack. The movie is very keen to get us to the moment where the ships are launching, and but that moment of the briefing, it lives so. I guess I've seen the movie so many times, so it's actually funny. I guess it was a bit of a reset to just look at what was actually taking up running time. I felt the same about the relationships and about the script, and actually I felt there was one. I think we should go through scene by scene. But,
okay, yeah.
I think there was one moment late on where. Early on, where I was like, this is the yin and the yang of George Lucas writing. And it was when Luke is talking to Obi-Wan, and he's trying to persuade him to come with him to Alderaan and to join this mission. And one of the worst lines in the film is, I hate the Empire, but there's nothing I could do about it right now. And then the next line is, it's all so far away, which is the perfect way of saying that sentiment.
Right.
And it really means a lot. And that is, I think that's one of the sort of the keynotes that's brought into stuff like Andor. It's like, it's so easy to ignore these things when they're going on, and you're just living your life, and they do feel like they're happening to other people. So I think that he has this incredible skill of hitting on the right idea and sometimes expressing it in a way which is rubbish.
Yeah.
And, we've joked before on the pod about Harrison Ford saying to him, you can write this shit, George, but you sure as hell can't say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I everything else maybe can wait, but I felt the same about the relationships. And actually felt as soon as Obi-Wan disappeared, it was like the young people were, it's like, the parent has left the room.
Right.
And then, the first thing that Han says to Luke is, where did you dig up that old fossil? And then it's like suddenly they can just talk in a looser way, and then all those relationships start really kicking, like the conflict within that group really starts kicking off.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
So let's go right back to the start then, and go through some of our favourite bits. I love that they still have the original recording of the 20th Century Fox fanfare, and that for me just was Star Wars forever. When as a kid, whenever I heard that, I was like, Star Wars is happening now. And of course, you get the Once Upon a Time in a Galaxy Far, Far Away, 4 dots. Which I've always noticed why there's
not an ellipsis as Word would have it.
No, ellipsis full stop. And I read that it was actually, we talked about this a little bit last time about the crawl and whatever. Originally, the crawl was like 5 minutes long, and I think this was in a cut. It explained. I mean, George Lucas had written an awful lot of lore about what was going on, and I think he had planned certainly the whole trilogy, but I think he had the whole. Well, it eventually was so. It was called Episode 4.
Yeah.
So he had an awful lot of that, and he showed this cut of the movie to a handful of people. I think I had a screening. Steven Spielberg was there and Brian De Palma was there, and apparently Brian De Palma went off on the crawl and was like, "What's going on? This is too long. I hate it." And that resulted in them putting Once Upon a Time in a Galaxy Far, Far Away, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I don't know what's going wrong with me.
Isn't it?
And that's to suspend your disbelief. I think it works really well. It's just like, look, forget about the real world. This is like, it's not now, it's not here. It's just, this is going to be fantastical. And then Brian De Palma actually wrote the crawl for George Lucas. He was like, I just don't know how to do it. I can't do it. And he was like, I'm just going to write it. And so he wrote it.
I like that there are 3 parts to like the start of this film, and you're right, there's like a sense memory to them. There is the original fanfare, and we should say we watched this on Disney Plus. Right?
Yes.
So if anyone wants to follow along, that's the version that we watched, not the despecialized version. Although I'm quite excited about going and watching the original version.
I'm really excited.
Next year.
And the specializedness is terrible.
It's of its time.
It's light touch in this movie, and it's still way too much.
And so you get the fanfare, and then you get this quiet of a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and then the sort of the opening blare of that fanfare is like shocking. So you get like a little pause, and then
knocks your socks off. And obviously, I can't imagine having seen that the first time. I mean, that must literally have shaken the audience in the cinema. If you didn't know that was coming, like that opening chord is massive.
Let's fucking go.
Obviously, now whenever I see a Star Wars movie, I always try and guess, when it's happening. I'm going to see The Force Awakens and seeing a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away coming up for which like shivers, and then just waiting for that.
I had it for The Phantom Menace. Obviously, it lasted about 10 seconds.
Right.
I was like, holy shit, I'm watching a new Star Wars film.
Yeah. I remember that less well, but every time it's such a thing, but I can't imagine seeing it the first time and not knowing you're going to get that blast of horns. The crawl, Rob, obviously you hate the crawl, but what did you think about this one in particular? Yeah.
I've got no strong opinions on the writing of the crawl.
Only Death Star was capitalised.
You seem annoyed to be asked.
Yeah.
Well, I said my opinion on the crawl in the bonus episode. I think the crawl looks bad. I just think it looks weird.
But we've got to talk about. I think we've got to talk about the content of each crawl for each movie, because they set up the movie in different ways.
Yeah,
I mean, this one's great. I think it's good.
It's a good, exciting bit of this is what's happening.
Yeah,
I don't mind if you hate stuff in this film. Right? I just want to say at the beginning of because I'm getting the sense that you're worried that we're going to love it and then we're going to be annoyed at you. I'm not annoyed. I
don't not love it. I just don't love it as much as you two love it.
I just want to say it's
absolutely fair.
I don't know how the dynamics going to play out.
We're all friends here. We'll find out.
We're all friends.
Amazing crawl, and then obviously into one of the most iconic. I don't know how many times I'm going to say one of the most iconic moments in cinema.
But before that, and I don't want to make this a 12-hour podcast, but just the crawl happens, and then there's this like mood shift, and one of the things which I mean, everyone talks about the music in Star Wars, and there's so many recognizable themes. But then this time watching it really specifically thinking about how hard the music was working in the opening 10 minutes even.
Yeah.
And the things which people talk about and have become so familiar, and how they're made possible by music. And, watch the first 10 minutes of this film and just think if the music was different or it wasn't here, it would be a fucking rubbish. Like and it's like changes of moods, changes of direction, introductions of characters. And here, when the crawl ends, and there's just, I kind of like have this real specific memory attached to it from watching this movie loads when I was a kid, when the music turns to this kind of searching, are they strings?
It's like a flute, I think.
Wind.
Yes.
And it's like, it's just, all right, we've had that crawl and now we're just in space. We're looking around.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Which is also a little bit of misdirection. In as much as fanfare, then it sort of lowers down, like you say, this sort of wistful searching, and you're like, da, 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 and you're like, what's going to happen here? And it's like, doo, doo, doo.
And then we're back in with another fanfare.
Yes,
and that very specific
battle,
shot.
and you see a spaceship for the first time, which you think is quite big, and then you see an unbelievably massive spaceship. And
it's the angle is an interesting angle on a chase. It's like just obviously it's a really specific choice, and it's. There, I think we have watched, I don't know if Rob's watched, but the documentary on Industrial Light and Magic, which kind of shows how a lot of these shots were conceived for the first time and wanting to show space in a different way. And again, like we're 9 years out from 2001, which did like incredible work. But then like this is a next step on in terms of the dynamism of wanting to show action in space. And there's no real point of orientation in space. Nothing is upside down. There's no reason that these ships should be, but like they're both like sitting on invisible water traveling towards that planet. But there's no reason for that, weirdly. But so the perspective is about orienting us in the scene and showing off the scale of it. I was struck by it this time.
And obviously that, you know, the really smart thing of you've just read about the rebels and the evil empire and then getting a sort of visual representation of that with a small ship being chased by this massive, you know, the design of the empire ships in particular are so brilliantly angular and just look evil. They just like look like evil ships.
Real evil.
They're just like nasty and sort of penetrative and just hard to do, you know.
And to Rob's point, I was struck again and again by how they could not have known all of this is fresh. And when even me watching Star Wars over and over again when I was a kid, it just layers on this sort of familiarity with stormtroopers, with the design of the Imperial ships, with Darth Vader, with just the look of the technology, like even the walkway to the Millennium Falcon, just the way that the sort of the metal struts are inside. It looks so specifically Star Wars. And at this time, that didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
There was no like Bible or visual reference to go on. So just the fact that they got it so incredibly strikingly good and correct. Correct isn't quite the right word, is it? Because it could have been lots of things. But it's fucking remarkable.
Yeah.
And then transition into the ship, I was again over and over again struck by how well that visual design works alongside the audio design of the film in various like respects. But there's like 3 different alarms going off on the inside of this ship.
Well, it's a bad situation.
But it's something I've always remembered, just that kind of like...
Yeah.
Actually, I think in my head at the moment, I've got the alarm from Flash Gordon playing.
Right. So that doesn't help. Well, maybe if it's
Rocket
anything like
Explosion?
our office, maybe one of the alarms that's going is just, you know, it's an accidental
you don't need
one.
to worry about
it's
that
not
one.
actually
You
not
can
a
just
real
silence
one.
it.
And we meet our first sort of 2 main characters in C-3PO and R2-D2. And watching the film this time, I was just really struck by how much time we spend with these guys. They are, you know, smaller parts of the movie. And we are basically introduced to what's going on through them very much.
They're
we won't
witnesses to this battle.
Won't meet Luke for a while.
C-3PO is a mean...
He's horrible.
Little. No, I don't think he likes you at all. That's my favourite line.
I don't like you
I don't like you either. You do? Like, I mean, what on earth? How have they done this? It's incredible. It's just such. It's
2
just
people
such
whose
an
lips don't
amazing.
move.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, R2. The sound design of R2 is so good. And now having a baby myself, I hear so many Star Wars sounds out of him.
R2's
He's
just
an Ewok
a metal
sometimes,
baby.
sometimes a Jawa, Udini, and sometimes R2.
That was one of the sounds I was like, this is what, imagine just like, oh yeah, we're going to have loads of little guys. They're going to be wearing hoods. And it was, well, that's insane. But when you hear them, you'll get it, guys. How do they sound?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. There's a lot. They get close to the edge of pushing my kind of
is this okay?
what I'm okay with in some of this.
Right? But I couldn't tell you who they're being racist about. So I think it's fine.
That's right. Maybe Jawas specifically.
exactly.
Nondescript foreign people.
Ethnics.
But I think it's such a brave and unusual choice to have one of the main characters be a character who doesn't even speak a language. I mean, he does, but it just sounds completely, you know, and have seeing a conversation play out with someone who can understand him. And this obviously happens a couple of times in this film with like Chewie, who speaks to Han, and it's so interesting to have that, to have a character who we can't understand, and we only understand them through the kind of tone of their sounds and the way the other characters react to them. And we're going to spend a lot of time with these characters. It's just great. And obviously, I don't know. There's a bit where they sort of roll through a gunfight.
That used
a laser
to stress
battle,
me out as a child.
which
I used
just
to be
seems
like,
mental.
You can't. What are you doing? Like, you're not crawling, I guess, because you're made of metal.
Yeah.
It's nuts. I was going to say, in terms of C-3PO and R2-D2, that there are and again, we talked about it in the intro section, just pod very briefly. Just that George Lucas he talks a lot about fairy tales and wanting to create a new fairy tale and wanting to make a story about good and evil, and what elements you'd have, what characters you'd have, and I thought, from what we were saying earlier, Dave, just in terms of like the way that the characters were bouncing off each other and the ultimate aim of the goal and the way that the quest is given to the goal, which I was going to talk to Rob about because it's so much like all of the books that we'd have read as kids. I can see where that structure comes from. But then there's like, in terms of them being characters that we spend loads of time with, there are a couple of like specific Japanese films and like Akira Kurosawa movies, which he's taken quite a big influence from, and there's a film called Hidden Fortress, which I remember first reading, Hidden Fortress was a big influence on Star Wars, and going, the film is basically about a hidden fortress, like the Death Star. And there's two characters, they're human characters, but they're kind of very low level. I don't think they're peasants, I think they're low level soldiers, like separated from their army, and they have like a real sort of bitter back and forth. And you can just imagine almost like stock characters from a different kind of storytelling who give you a perspective on the world that you won't get from like the royal characters or the officer class or whatever it is. And, I guess, they are like the droids are like the peasants they're the lowest class. Everyone is their superior. But then they're able to offer an opinion. So I guess like...
Which is interesting as well, because it gives the other characters an opportunity to interact with these sort of second-class citizens. I mean, they're literally not allowed in the bar, you know, which I never really understood, because to me they're just important characters, but then you get the sense that they are second-class characters in the world. You get to see how Luke treats them, which I think is really well.
Also true.
Han rolls his eyes at C-3PO as soon as he meets him, which I really like. And that's great. Like they help round out the other characters and the world by being there. Should
we race to those sections? Because I've got notes.
And just to say, because I think it's really brave that we open mostly with R2 and C-3PO for like a solid 15 minutes, I guess. But it wasn't always the plan, and they did shoot. And in the first edit, there were all these scenes with Luke and Luke going about his day, meeting Biggs,
having some power converters,
getting some power converters at Toshi Station, and apparently just like looking up at the space battle, and he could see the battle that was happening above.
I've seen stills of that, and I do love the sort of the yearning of seeing a battle in the orbit. That's fucking cool.
Well, I read that the first cut of the movie, and it wasn't Marsha Lucas who cut it, it was someone else who is credited, and George Lucas said it was the worst movie he'd ever seen.
Oh, brilliant. That must be.
And Marsha Lucas, I'm sure we'll talk about this, is very famous for coming in and is, well believed to be the secret genius behind Star Wars. She made loads of creative decisions that turned it around, and one of those decisions was cut all this stuff at the start. It would be much longer movie for a start, and we just don't need to meet Luke in this way. I mean, the way we actually will meet Luke, I think Luke is brilliant. It feels like it was intended for him to be introduced to us in that way. But anyway,
stuff I wanted to touch on really quickly was again, as so much of this is like me comparing notes to me as a 7-year-old watching this movie over and over again. The audio design of the scene of the stormtroopers blasting through and boarding the ship is always incredibly exciting. The visual language of the two uniforms, the rebels and the stormtroopers, like stormtroopers first time on screen, incredible. But then the audio design of it's like there's one set of blaster fire, and then the other one is like a higher pitch. Just like I was really struck by that by this time. It's like an answering call from like across the stadium. It's fucking crazy.
Well, there's basically everything you see on the screen has to have a sound, and it doesn't. There's so much technology and just equipment and obviously like creatures and things that we just have never heard before and don't know how they sound. Like, it's an unbelievable soundscape in this movie where they've created sounds for everything, just for functions of things.
And he didn't work on this film, but I mentioned last time about THX 1138. And Walter Murch being involved with that. And Walter Murch was like part of this filmmaking community that they're part of. And I just think that in general, they were doing... The Conversation is one of my favourite films, and he edited that. And The Conversation is about piecing together an audio recording of a conversation. And it's about the technology that does it. And it's about sort of clever analog recording, spyware, espionage, and then the physical process of piecing it together, which is obviously mirrors the process of filmmaking and constructing sound. and he would go on to work on Apocalypse Now. And there's like a tone or like a vibe that you get from the sounds of the conversation, which you can hear in this. It's like something to do with the even at the end in the dogfight, the way that the sounds of the radio, then they cross cut from inside the cockpit to then being heard at the base.
Yeah.
Those metallic sort of rings to it sound. It just comes from something of this era, which is then transported into this science fiction setting and is brilliant. We should talk very briefly about Vader, but we should ask Rob about it because he hasn't said anything for ages.
Yeah.
Rob, do you like Darth Vader?
I do, and I find it interesting in this film because he's always thought of as like, oh, he's so evil. And even in the mailbag episode that we had last Monday, where we had people reminiscing about their first encounter with Darth Vader in this film, thinking, oh my God, he is so evil. I'm not sure he is. I just don't think he is that evil. And in this film, he's not even the big bad.
No.
Like, Moff Tarkin seems to have a degree of authority over Vader. And that first scene where everyone's sitting around the table, there's almost like a sense of, oh God, here he comes with his weird voodoo. And one of them saying to him, like, they don't seem to be that afraid of him. No, and he then comes in with his little petulant force choke on that guy. But Tarkin's like, Vader, leave him alone.
Yes.
He's like
as you wish.
But he doesn't have, he's also got he's got a purpose to him and an emotional drive to what he's doing. Like, compared to Palpatine, who we obviously don't see in this film, Palpatine's just pantomime evil.
Yeah.
Darth Vader is not pantomime evil, and he's not pantomime evil in this film, not even close to it.
No, I kind of agree. I thought the same thing.
He's not
Very
that
much so.
intimidating. I mean, I guess when the suit is, it's so hard to say anything about the suit now. It's so entrenched in.
It looks like a samurai suit.
It does, yes. Actually, that is a good point. I think there'll be stuff in Empire Strikes Back, specific shots of him, and I think he probably comes into his own a little bit more in Empire than in this film. But yeah, I was struck by how non-intimidating and just pure evil he was in this. He was just a character who wanted some things, and what he wants is obviously is it him who makes the order to just blow up the planet? I'm not even sure it is.
No,
he doesn't do that. He's got his own agenda here.
I feel the same.
He does some piloting at the end. He's quite a good pilot. But yeah, I wouldn't be coming out of this film in 1977 thinking, oh my God, what a terrifying evil villain that is.
He's got the mystery element.
For sure.
Because of the mask and the voice.
I think he's a cool villain, but yeah, he's like I was struck how reasonable he is.
He is quite reasonable
to all his subordinates. They're like
that guy's chatting to him down the corridor, and I think you're right. And his legend has grown over the years, and so it's weird seeing that guy saying, this is a risky strategy. She's going to die before she'll tell you anything. And then he's like, just talks. And I kind of feel like in the modern conception of Vader, people wouldn't talk to him like that. They'd be too scared.
No, the modern conception of Vader, I think, is played out in Kylo Ren's character in the first, at least the first couple of the sequel movies, where he just has
reverence,
emotional rage bits in a room, and it'll just be a shot of a corridor, and you'll just hear Kylo Ren having a tantrum, and bits of the Force will be flying out all over the place. And there'll be another two NPCs walking down the corridor, and they'll look at each other like, oh, let's better get out of here because it's really powerful and scary.
Kylo Ren is like a toxic boss, and Darth Vader is just like a firm, old-fashioned boss.
He is.
Who
uses force choking sometimes as a disciplinary method. But even the guy who's getting force choked, he doesn't have a look of sort of like, he's just like, oh, I don't quite like that. That's quite uncomfortable.
There's no respect for Vader.
No, there isn't. There's no real reverence and fear of him that I could see.
This is the point I should say as well, that guy, when he chokes and then he goes down onto the dashboard and there's a yellow light, but when you're watching this on a VHS copy taken off TV, it was much blurrier, and I used to think that he'd coughed up an egg. He had not coughed up an egg.
God, that's my breakfast. Yeah, I think in Empire we're going to see a lot darker and scarier Darth Vader.
It does feel like Lucas was building on the reaction from this film to make him into more of a...
Yeah.
Although I guess he was always central.
It's one of the reasons I really love a little snapshot of Vader in Rogue One, where he gets to he ruthlessly kills a bunch of rebels, and you get to see him
right before this moment.
And it's still that control. Darth Vader always has control.
Don't forget, he's also on the Wookiee planet, just slaughtering Wookiees.
He's just got the
events of Force
He's
Unleashed.
just roasting
Yes.
those motherfuckers.
He never that's the difference with Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren, like you said, tantrums. Darth Vader, he is always in control. He'll just snap, but not in a big loud way. He'll just choke you to death.
Well, do you know that I was going to mention the thing in Rogue One only because I feel like it's the perfect evidence for what Rob was saying, really, that the difference between how Vader was seen then and how he's seen now is that film is giving us a version of him which is supposed to be seconds before we first see him, and it has to be this destructive, incredibly powerful, terrifying version, which I think says more about how we now think of Vader than it does about what was he actually doing before. If you really look at this movie, what was he doing before?
I guess an awful lot of important people on the Death Star are all dead for the next movie. So, all that insubordination, if they are even being insubordinate, or just all the higher ups who are just happy to go, shut up, Vader. Like, they're all dead. So he's in a new empire come the next movie where he's like, I'm actually one of the big cheeses now.
I mean, I don't feel like we're here to nitpick about consistencies or the world or whatever.
Not.
But I do think that obviously at some point the centrality of like the Jedi, it's not like some ancient religion. It's just a few years ago when they took down a civilization run by the Jedi.
That's true.
But it's a movie, isn't it?
Well, is that guy wrong to not blow up the escape pod? Everybody always says that's the end of Star Wars. If the droids get on the escape pod and a man on the Star Destroyer says, Don't hold your fire.
There goes another one.
There's no life forms aboard.
There goes another one.
Must have malfunctioned.
Maybe one of the first quotes from the film, something that Rob probably won't have noticed, but that we say on a weekly basis.
Right.
Like if there's an email that comes in, there goes another one. Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
He was wrong to do that. And I just want to say, like in terms of I was saying the music, so searching music, fanfare music for the chase of the ships, and then into the ship, loads of like really high paced stuff matching the battle. Vader comes in, tiny bit of Vader theme.
It's like a little comic book fanfare, I think. Da 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 da. It's like, here he is.
It's very Flash Gordon, and then a shot of Leia in the corridor, and then just a bit of that really sad, longing Leia theme.
Yeah.
And I was just struck by he's done the main fanfare and these things. And we're like 5 minutes into the movie.
I think we get a little bit of Force theme somewhere, like a little hint of it later on in the movie. It's just John Williams is just the absolute master, and I didn't realise that it was George Lucas went to see Steven Spielberg when he was making Jaws and was like, this music's amazing. Who's done the music? And it was like John Williams, who wasn't a big name at that time in composing for movies anyway, and so he got John Williams on board, and apparently he says like that was basically the only thing that went right. It was like he went and saw John Williams, he played him the music, he was like, the music's great.
Music's
it was really good.
Thanks. John.
Yeah, I'll use that music. Yeah, cool, I've done it.
Things I want to point out really quickly, you get the sort of iconic shot of Leia feeding something into R2-D2, and then she gets stunned by stormtroopers.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen them stun anyone else.
No. I don't think I have either. I can't think of a stun setting being used anywhere, and I felt a little bit sad for the stormtrooper who turns to his mates and says, there's one, weapons to stun, and then he gets immediately shot by her. And they don't like, no one's like, oh no, Steve. They're just like, oh yeah, stunner.
The reaction to people dying in this film is remarkably low key.
Yeah.
Luke's reaction to the brutally horrific murder of the two people who've raised him for his entire life.
I thought it was great.
Never cease to amaze me.
I thought his reaction was I literally
Should we get to Tatooine before
Oh my God, we can try.
discuss it? Well, the only thing is the escape pod, and the only thing I have to say about that is I have always loved the shot of it detaching. It's the most 2001 shot probably in the film. Very centralized. You can see, and it breaks away and goes into space. There's debris from it breaking away, and then the shot of them. So then you see the gunner deciding not to shoot him, and then we're inside the pod with C-3PO. What did he say? Damn, it doesn't look so bad.
Yes.
And I always thought they're looking through a porthole of some kind.
Yes.
But when I was a kid, I was like, I guess the back of that Escape pod is just open.
It's just a hole. Yeah, it's not clear, and I thought exactly the same thing. And even last night, watching it, I was like, "What is this?" Because then you see from the outside, the pod doesn't seem to have a porthole, and it's going away from the ship. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We get to Tatooine, and very quickly, considering they've got a weird relationship, C-3PO and R2.
Yes.
They just agree to go their separate ways.
Yes.
And C-3PO just does seem so mean again.
I've written down C-3PO is a proper bitch. That's my notes from this scene.
Yeah. And
when he's talking to himself, he's really malignant. He says, he tricked me into going this way.
Yeah, exactly.
But he'll do no better.
That's
the line that it's like, I'm fucked, but as long as he's fucked as well.
Yes, he's very mean, and he's very in his own head about this stuff.
He is.
And
so it's not too controversial, I don't think, to say that C-3PO is nastier than Darth Vader in this film.
I think you're right.
That's a very interesting point. He's also nicer though. He also, like, when he gets an opportunity, it's like he can't be nice to R2 to his face. It's a bit like us, I think. It's like when I'm away from you guys, I'm right. Like, yeah, they're great guys, really lovely guys, great guys. But then to your faces, I'm like,
I do. It gives him a bit of an arc, doesn't it? And I think there is, obviously written by George Lucas, and I don't know if it's just a characterization, but there does seem to be like a really particular British, almost like showbiz. It's like two people who've been working together for a really long time,
yeah,
and they hate each other. But if anything happened to one of them, he'd be like,
yeah,
if I can donate any of my circuits.
Obviously, C-3PO just surrenders to the Jawas in a way. He's just like, over here, I'm so alone. And R2, I always thought it was pretty scary the way that R2 is.
I always hated that.
Is taken down. Like the design of the Jawas. When you see them out in the light, they're just fun little guys.
Yeah.
But when they're like hiding with their amber eyes just glowing through their hoods, pretty scary. And the way that they
R2 do is like jet. Is oil expulsion, then set it on fire, jetpack move.
Well, I know, yeah. He didn't know he was in danger at that time.
He didn't fly.
Didn't bother using the jetpack. Yeah, he used his little jetpack. Yeah,
yeah, he should have done that.
Yeah, he
or
think about that.
He electrocutes someone in Jedi, doesn't he?
Yeah. Well, why doesn't Obi-Wan use his Force run to just just get around quicker? Just all the time he should be using that.
Why would you not use Force
I don't know.
It's like when I play Doom, you can toggle on or off now. You know what I mean? I'm just running all the time.
Yeah.
Force run. Toggle on.
I assume it's just like wearing an exoskeleton.
You must have like a Force meter, right? You can't just use the Force all the time. It's got to be on a bit of a cooldown.
There's a cooldown.
There's there's like the Eastern mysticism or whatever you want to call it. That's probably an offensive term for it now, but the sort of the thoughts from the East which have influenced George Lucas, which are probably very like simplified, but I don't know if there's hard and fast rules. But if you get down to it, obviously, really at the heart of that philosophy is stuff like, well, you can't just Force run all the time. You can't just always be doing the transcendent thing. You can't constantly transcend. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
But then, like, if you're an inquisitive Western audience, you're like, well, why not? Is there a meter? Why not? I want to Force run all the time.
Well, it's just games, isn't it? I think that you could kind of get away. Like, you in the movies, you can just accept that, like, yeah, it's tiring or something. You can't always do it.
Yeah.
Games came along and they needed a way for you to sometimes be able to Force run, but not all the time.
Yeah.
And they had to create a visual
stamina bars.
Yeah, a bar of that. And
yeah, once you fill that one bar, you can stretch out your feelings.
That's
and then
right.
Once that's gone, you have to build the bar up.
There's 4 chunks of the bar. So anyway, and then the droids are reunited in the transport, and
that transport, I just want to say, in terms of selling the whole of the aesthetic of Star Wars and it being full of junk, it's fucking amazing.
Yes,
so good.
It's interesting because the worn nature of Star Wars, the Star Wars sci-fi, which is so famous, it was like a new idea. It's interesting that the start of the film is quite clean. Inside the Rebel ship, really clean, but the droids aren't. And I was noticing, because obviously at the end of the movie they'll get a nice refit, but at the start of the movie they're really smeared and like sort of just used.
Did you see any Dark Star in the film now that we've watched that recently? I guess if you see 2001 and then Dark Star is somewhere in the middle of that in Star Wars, and then you see
Dan O'Bannon is involved in this movie, right? I saw him in the credits.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe
unless it's a different Dan O'Bannon.
I wouldn't have thought so. Maybe he's involved in the model making in some way.
I think he was. Yeah. I don't know about Dark Star. I don't know.
Well, it's I still don't enjoy it, but I feel like it might have had just an influence on the possibilities.
Yeah.
That seemed like they were out there.
Well, George Lucas took a lot of influence from everywhere, so I'm sure
That's true.
that probably
He
did
was
happen.
it was like walking through an orchard.
Yeah. And we basically get to introduce Luke at last. And as I said, it feels like this was always the plan. It's just a great kind of introduction where he has to go back as Aunt Beru, wants something or other. Get someone who can speak bocce.
The house is amazing. It's just dug out of the ground.
Yeah.
The farm is great. Just like, it's a moisture farm. I love that idea. It's such a throwaway science fiction idea that on a desert planet you have a moisture farm.
Yeah.
And they have evaporators.
And Uncle Owen's looking for a couple of droids, and obviously he picks the red one. R5, I think his designation
I thought
is.
that, but he does say that R2 unit has a bad motivator. I wrote down R5 and then I
believe there's a fan theory that R5 surrenders himself, destroys himself. Or the Force does, something like that. Like,
I'd like it if it was R2D2.
Because it needs to be R2, or else, obviously, again, like the story's over.
Maybe
so
R2's like broadcast to him.
Yeah.
Mate, just let me have this one. All right, I'll just pop my motivator.
It was really funny seeing...
Mate, just let me have this one.
And Nathan, you won't get this reference because...
He says that.
You won't get this reference, Nath, but when Uncle Owen is talking to C-3PO, it's like talking to AI today. It's just like so over helpful and like,
right.
Oh yes, I'd be glad to do that immediately. I could certainly. Protocol's one of my primary functions, sir. I'm actually like.
Well, this is what I was going to say when you were talking about like seeing people interact, and the fact that Luke is quite nice to the droids, and I always felt a little bit bad that Uncle Owen it's actually really prescient. He just treats them like tools.
Yeah,
it's like shut up. And my dad used to say forever. Whenever anyone would say shut up, he would say shutting up. And I think it's because of C-3PO.
Shutting up, sir.
Shutting up, sir.
Shutting up, sir. Such a good line. But I love, again, you've had, like, again, this relationship with C-3PO and R2, the red one and C-3PO are picked. And there's just like a sort of lingering kind of, C-3PO kind of looks at him a bit. He's a bit sad.
Yeah.
But obviously he's mean, so he's also just looking out for his own skin. He's like, well, I'm okay. And R2 obviously then just starts rocking side to side.
Fuck.
Again, reminds me of my son. And it's just like, oh. And then C-3PO is nice about him.
Yeah, he's smart.
And I recommend that one. We've actually worked together. I like the way he's like, we've worked together in the past. like you said, like showbiz.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're back.
Yeah, we did Brighton Pier last year. It was fucking brilliant.
We're back, and it's all up and together. And Luke takes them for an oil bath. And finally, things start kind of cracking now. When
Mark Hamill is great, I want to say. Like to your again, going back to what Rob said about no one knows what movie they're in, and I've heard Mark Hamill talk about this a little bit. All of them and their levels of, and I've read Carrie Fisher's book and some of the stuff that Harrison Ford has said, and some of the stuff that Alec Guinness said, and all of them coming together with their different perspectives and the different points in their careers. And I think Hamill was into sci-fi, and I think he's just quite game, and his whole career is then afterwards been quite game. He knew about conventions and sci-fi culture at this point, and from the very beginning we talked about Star Trek and how those things were gathering momentum through the 70s, and I think he's just got this burgeoning awareness of that. All of which to say, when he is carrying that scene, and whenever there are droids, I think the humans have to carry the scenes, and you think about it like everything they're saying is muffled. You can't hear R2-D2.
Yeah.
They'll just be rattling around on this cheap set. Like the belief that Hamill has in whether he's like flying that shuttle around or pretending to work on the droids, and then just like the little bits of information just about if there's a center of the galaxy, this is the planet's furthest from it. Just like those little bits of sort of farm boy sort of, again, like longing. I remembered them so well. They made such an impression on me when I was a kid. There's a real character to it. I just think he's fucking great in this film.
Yeah.
He is whiny, but he's completely believable.
He's got some of the most difficult lines for selling
Sure.
the believability of what's going on here.
He's really expressive though.
Yeah.
I think he's great.
And we get to see a snapshot of the message from Princess Leia, and that effect is just unbelievable as well. I think just the hologram, so good, and that device of just getting a little bit of the hologram. And I always wondered, is R2 subconsciously doing this, to seek to just playing that little bit of the message to try and obviously get the restraining bolt lifted, and
Yes.
Is it a plan or is it just a happenstance thing, and there's no real answer to that. But lots of little kind of happy things like that.
I wanted to ask Rob about this, because this is getting into sort of like really familiar territory, like the young would-be wizard or whatever in their tucked away rural home. This is the moment which opens up that world for them, and it's like this secret message. A princess is involved, and then they actually call in the dinner scene with Baru and Uncle Owen. He says that that wizard's just a crazy old man. Like, it literally calls him a wizard. And then there's the kind of thing that used to get me so excited when I used to read those books over and over was that line after Luke leaves the table and Aunt Beru says he's just not a farmer and he's got too much of his father in him.
Yeah.
Uncle Owen says, that's what I'm afraid
That's
of.
what I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
And it's just cool. I don't know if you picked up on any of that, Rob, or if it hit home for you.
It's classic sort of. What's the first example of it? Like how tropey is? Does Star Wars aware that how aware is Star Wars of how tropey it's being right now? Is it responsible for the tropes? But yeah, it's just that sort of. I think Obi-Wan is so. It strikes me how he doesn't seem to care that much about the mystery. He's like, oh yeah, that's me. I'm Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was, in a movie now, I'd expect him to just do a look and be like, ooh, and not quite reveal yet. But he's quite open with the fact that, yep, I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yep, that's me.
I love that line.
Yes, and the adventure has now started. He's very forthright throughout this film about everything. He's just like, yep, and oh, by the way, here's something your father left for you. It's a lightsaber, by the way. Like, of course, in 1977, no one knows what the fuck a lightsaber is, but this is a massive moment.
Yeah.
Luke getting his lightsaber for the first time, and Obi-Wan's just had it in a box on Tatooine this entire time. Oh yeah, there's your dad's lightsaber.
Your uncle didn't want you to
Oh,
have it,
and by the way, the Force is a thing. As you want to learn, I'll teach you about it if you like.
We should probably go to Alderaan.
I mean, what has he been doing all of Luke's life?
Hiding
He's
out.
just this strange hermit who Luke knows as Ben.
Well, this only becomes
if he's not been training him in the ways of the Force up until he's just been waiting for this moment. Apparently.
Well, this is only a problem when there are prequels. In this movie, it's not a problem at all. Everything makes sense and holds together. His reaction to Luke, and I think apart from, well, you'll have to. Of course, you'll have to learn the ways of the Force if you're to come with me to Alderaan. It's like I thought was a bit of an overstep. It's like, what do you mean, come with you to Alderaan? And also, getting to Alderaan seems to take about half an hour. So,
Which is,
not much
I want to
time.
get to the scene, and we should probably move a little bit faster. But the only thing I wanted to mention that happens in between is the shot and the music with the binary suns, and I feel like
that's massive.
In some time when I was a child, like I watched this scene and understood for the first time what brooding was.
Yeah.
I remember really not when it was or what specific moment, but just being struck once watching it going, this music is incredible.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like this.
I always wonder about these bits. Did George Lucas write and Luke looks at the suns and broods and we'll have some, was it like, and we'll have some music. If the music there is rubbish, it's just not going to land. It doesn't matter how great. It doesn't matter how great the visual is, and the visual is great. It's a very simple thing. Obviously, just the two suns, but they look amazing, and the light on his face is amazing, and he's selling it. But the music playing there is just exquisite, and it's just an amazing moment in the movie. I think.
And then to carry straight into just C-3PO being freaked out in the garage and go, I really actually fucked up quite badly. And then they're away. How do they have to wait till the morning? But yes, and then they're into it.
And Obi-Wan arriving, I never really understood that he makes that weird noise to scare off the sand people.
I think the noise is heightened in the special edition. It
Right.
goes on for ages.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, it's pretty horrific.
Force howl. A force howl.
Force howl.
Force Howl, of course.
Yeah.
He's used his whole bar on it. That's why he's not running.
Yeah. And straight away, as you said, it is great. Obi-Wan.
Yes.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Now there's a name I've not heard.
Uncle said he's dead.
I think
He's
it's been
me.
quite a long time since I've seen it, because the thing which struck me, in the meantime, I've watched way more Alec Guinness movies than I'd ever seen, which is none, when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So some some Ealing comedies and Bridge Over the River Kwai and Smiley's People and the Tinker Tailor from the BBC, which I think, Rob, you would really, really enjoy, which was a couple of years after this. And the thing I thought was, again, you kind of feel like what's the equivalent, like a McKellen being in Lord of the Rings or something, like a very established actor lending their weight to this and knowing how he felt about it. And I know that everyone's made loads of how it is a completely different culture of theatre and film, which he'd come up with. I think I've made this point before on the pod that he wasn't, especially when he was making the film, anywhere near as sort of acerbic or cynical about it as he maybe was later on. And there's an interview from, I think, like 78, where he's doing some theatre in London. He's interviewed by the Evening Standard, and he remembers telling the crew who were taking the piss out of the film, this will be a film of distinction, meaning that he saw enough knew that was going on that he knew it was going to be something different. And he wasn't.
So even the crew were taking the piss out of it.
I think, I think they really didn't like Lucas, similar to James Cameron, maybe those British crews. You imagine just being around a bunch of British people who really know what they're doing in the 70s and 80s, and like these Americans come over.
Yeah. And George Lucas, well, he's not much of a director in terms of.
He's got to pay attention to those Americans. I guess they know what they're doing.
Yeah, well, but then so did Ridley Scott. So
he's not much of a director when it comes to acting performances, is he? And I don't know about the technical side. I know that he butted heads with Gil Taylor, is it, the DOP, who I think is like quite an old experienced hand, and I think they had a bit of a polite but dislike for one another, or he would like things a certain way, and George would say, "Can you put that light there?" And he'd be like, "No, you could tell me what you want to, what effect you're trying to create, and I'll do the lighting."
That's interesting.
And I think also, like, they'd made all these sets. Apparently, like the Death Star, they'd made all these sets, and he was like, "Well, how am I going to light this?" Because they had no sort of in-world light, so they ended up just going in and cutting those.
Is that why
and put the lights in there? So that was not designed. It was like it was added afterwards. I was literally
thinking about that, the look of that, and how designed that was, and whether it was intentional.
And it was just, I think it was something that Gil Taylor did to solve the light. Well, we need lights in this set.
The thing I was going to say about Guinness was just that the first time you see him, R2 is hiding and sad in a rock, and then
artificially. Do you remember in the original movie there isn't? He's not hidden by anything. He's just in a little cave. That's something they digitally enhanced for the special editions.
And he lifts up his hood and he says hello there. But there's something really which everyone knows, and I think the reason that line sticks out and everyone knows it is because there's a real brightness and confidence to the way that Guinness is speaking, which kind of, he's not sort of mysterious.
No,
I don't know. There's something else going on, and also the thing which I'm sure I'm going to think more and more as I watch Star Wars, I was really surprised how young he looked. I was like, this guy is late 50s. Fuck. Like, that's the next decade for me. That isn't like...
Right.
He's not... I mean, he is an old man. And he looks older in some scenes, but that first one where maybe they've digitally de-aged him.
I don't think they did that.
His face isn't particularly creased.
Yeah,
I think...
You get all those memes, don't you? It's like, I can't believe that this is supposed to be the same character 10 years apart. And it's like a 45-year-old Ewan McGregor and a 52-year-old Alec Guinness.
Yeah. I mean,
all they're really saying is Ewan McGregor's just quite handsome, isn't he?
He is, yeah. He's been in better shape. He's got a nutritionist. I don't think Alec Guinness ever had a nutritionist.
Probably not. No.
I think he's controversial opinion.
How old was he? How old was he when they filmed this?
I'm not quite sure.
And how old was McGregor when they did the Obi-Wan series?
Yes.
I reckon they'll be quite similar ages. That's my guess.
Someone wants to just sing some jizz.
I don't want to sing any jizz, no. But I think we can talk about the next scene. I mean, Rob's already mentioned it.
He was 62 years old when he did Star Wars.
Ah.
So,
looking pretty good for 62.
He is.
He's definitely not hugely mobile, I thought. You could see he moves like an older man.
So he's
especially when he's got a lightsaber in his hand.
10 or 12 years older than Ewan McGregor was in the...
right.
I've got some opinions on that dueling scene as well. New opinions that I didn't have before.
We'll get there.
We will.
But first, the...
Sand people, horrible.
Sand people, horrible. Love the Banthas. It's not bad.
Thanks.
Sort of a bit more like a seal.
They're seals, aren't they? They're like
seals. And The message is played for Obi-Wan.
Before that, just very quickly, the dissolves have started to happen. And when I was a kid and they picked up C-3PO, he's being such a baby. Obviously, his arms
Forgot
off.
about this bit.
There's the dissolve which wipes from the bottom to the top of the screen, and I always used to think that they had cut him in half.
Right.
I was like, well, that's why he's saying he can't get up.
I love, it's so weird, this bit, because he's got his arm off and he's being quite, a martyr, I guess. He's like, I'm done for, sir, just leave me. And I have no sense of how, as someone who, just a person, is like, what kind of danger he's in. And it's just quite funny that Luke's like, what are you talking about? Come on. And I don't know how they fix his arm super easily. He's like, fine.
Luke's
after that.
very technically minded.
And Obi-Wan gets to see the message from Leia, who, again, which will be slightly undone by future bits of Star Wars media, introduces herself like he doesn't know who she is. But
the 1, 2, 3, and like leaving aside almost how important these things have become because they've been so focused on in other Star Wars stories that people have been incredibly hungry for. But just to kind of bring it back to, at this time, writing this story, the sprinkling of science fiction elements or kind of interesting lore elements for us to cling on to and be intrigued by. He talks about the Clone Wars, which back then, he just made THX 1138 about a future where people are controlled by drugs. The idea of cloning is much more of a sort of a dark science fiction idea than it became. It's like, well, we're going to clone people and they're all this one guy from New Zealand.
Yeah.
That's a stupid idea.
That's a shame.
Jedi Knights and a mysterious father all just like come sort of bounding in at the first time and all being spoken about. And the lightsaber.
And the Force.
And the Force.
I think that his explanation of the Force is beautifully simple. It just makes sense really quickly to me. It's just like an energy force that created by all living things that sort of binds us together.
Yeah.
It's just, I just get it. I don't know. It doesn't need, I get it enough.
It's vague enough that it just makes sense.
It just makes sense.
And the best line for me is before the dark times, before the Empire. And then like the lightsaber gets withdrawn at the same time. It's like punctuated by that.
Yeah.
I love that line. Fuck me, I love Star Wars.
Yes, me too. And Obi-Wan's off to Alderaan, but Luke's not. He's got to get home. And I think
it's all such a long way from here.
They, on his way home, this is where they come across the transport and they start putting two and two together. The Empire after the droids.
We do. We have a short interlude with Peter
planned.
Cushing comes in and just announces that fascism has been established.
Yeah, that's right. We've dissolved the government, or whatever, the Senate.
Fear will keep the local systems in line.
Fear will keep them in line because of the new powerful Death Star.
And the
Darth
Emperor
Vader is
is
a force choke.
A figure we just never see.
No.
Yeah. And maybe it's better that way. I find your lack of faith disturbing. An incredible line.
Yes.
And then, as my note says, I used to think that guy coughed up an egg, but we've already established that he didn't cough up the egg.
I really love the guy who is ranting at the start of this. I think he's like he's the general in charge of the fleet.
Yeah.
I love the way he speaks. Not the guy who's force choked, the other guy.
I believe is he the guy who is in the van in Brazil? He's one of the heavies. I think he's the guy who knocks him out.
Oh, right. He might be, yeah.
I think he might be.
That's cool. But yeah, they find the transport and Luke slightly hammy, but then that would lead them pause home, and we get to the bit, Rob, which you're not a fan of Luke's reaction to seeing the charred remains.
I just thought it was very like, obviously as characters we don't care that much about
Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru.
Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru.
Aunt Beru's pretty nice. Blue milk, obviously.
It's so brutal.
It's unbelievably brutal.
Burnt, charred skeleton. So we just see it.
Yeah.
And Luke just looks at them and then just, oh, man. Shit.
I read it differently.
I better go then.
I read it differently. And the music's doing a lot of the work. And the music, again, beautiful bit of music. He looks down. And I think there's like he looks for a long time at them, which I really like. The sort of horrified look of, oh my God, I can't look away. And then he looks down. And I think it's just a resolve. I get what you mean. Like maybe there should be maybe he should be some tears.
And not
maybe
like
he should do the slow run.
He should be screaming and all of that kind of thing. But it's just I think just what's shocking to me is the brutality of the corpses and how horrible and burnt they are.
What's lucky for him?
What the fuck have they done?
It's
so
so
them?
strange. Yeah, I've never seen stormtroopers do this to anybody. What have they set their guns to this time?
Yeah.
Don't forget to strip all of their flesh off, guys.
Crazy Steve. He's just this one stormtrooper. It's just like, oh God,
That's a spin-off, and they
Crazy
get a
Steve.
whole series out of that now.
Stripping Steve,
the
Crazy
flame trooper.
Crazy Steve, the stripping stormtrooper.
Well, Luke's really lucky that he's got this opportunity of an adventure that's just come up. Because imagine if he hasn't. He's just got home and he's found this. Like, oh God.
It's the convenience of like just completely destroying any option other than to go forward, isn't it?
Yeah. Maybe there should be a theory that the stormtroopers didn't do that at all. Like you say, I've never seen stormtroopers do this. Maybe they didn't do it at all. It was Obi-Wan to make sure Luke
Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Or
it was Force ran all the way there.
Force ran back.
Exactly. Force ran back.
Some force stripping of flesh.
It's all in the greater good. It's fine.
That makes a lot of sense.
Then I've just written a note, Death Star and great corridors. I don't really know what that applies to, but they must have just been walking around in great corridors. The shiny floors, the lights that you talked about. When Luke gets back to the broken transporter to speak to Obi-Wan, C-3PO is just casually tossing bodies onto the fire.
Yeah. Just burning Jawas. It's fine.
No one asked you to do that, C-3PO.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
I had 10 minutes.
Yeah,
He wasn't back yet. It's
Maybe
fine.
it was C-3PO who burned Baru and Owen.
They were already dead, all right?
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't doing any harm.
I'm burning stuff. I don't have flesh, so I don't really get it. I want to see the robots inside. I want to see the robots inside.
I want to see how people are made.
This is true. It was C-3PO, did it?
I thought it was interesting actually that Luke does refer to them as robots in one scene. He says like something about they were looking for the robots, which is just weird because they're never. I don't think any
feel like that's
droids are ever called
That's
robots
in a document
again.
somewhere at Lucasfilm. Yeah, we never called them robots.
We don't do that. And we go to Mos Eisley, the biggest hive of scum and villainy in the galaxy.
It's the most fucked with thing in the film for the special edition. And it's the thing which holds up the least well. There's that one scene where they're combing the desert. I can't help but think of Spaceballs. I don't know if I showed that scene. But there's like just loads of stormtroopers and they're all in the foreground because they're painted over the old ones. Yeah. And there's a similar thing here. And the thing that really gets me is you can see, I don't know if it would have been like, oh, you would have fucked this film up if you'd had the chance at the time, George Lucas, and only limit, or whether your sensibility changed, because everything that's going on to make this seem like a teeming metropolis is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
It's like droids falling over and shitting themselves. It's like none of it's like cool sci-fi stuff.
No, everything has to have a joke. Every little creature that is added in is a joke creature doing a joke thing, like some slapstick. There's just physical comedy everywhere, and it's like, so why is this happening? Yeah. It's like I did think this. It's famous, you know. We always say like Star Wars is for kids, and I was watching it last night and thinking, like,
are these corpses for kids?
Yeah, the corpses for kids. Like, it's not. It's. I get why kids would like it, and it's really clear. It's really black and white, good guys and bad guys, evil. You know, but I don't know. And then it seems like he's gone back and added stuff for kids, just stupid creatures.
I just think in the
same.
People just get less cool as they get older. It's happened to me. It's happening to everyone. It happened to George Lucas.
It's happened to me.
That's it.
But yeah,
not me either. I'm really cool.
Yeah. And the cantina, which is like a fever dream of like, I mean, this is where George did get to go get loose, you know, let loose with the like, and I want a slug one, and I want like
one is just the right angle. His head is just the right angle.
And I want like a spider. I mean, what is the guy? The guy who there's a guy who's like a devil, like who's just like, I'm just really evil.
I'm not going to trust that guy. I heard that some of the was it Bosk was like left over. I know he's not in the scene, but he's like left over from Doctor Who, maybe.
Okay,
I don't know if there was a sense of like, what weird costumes have we got? There's one of them's just an astronaut, which I'd never noticed before. Yeah, just like he's wearing like a spacesuit indoors.
Yeah,
how is he drinking through that thing?
Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's all kinds. You see Greedo a lot. I assume it's Greedo that we're seeing, and not just
another.
I've forgotten what his race is. He's a Rhodian, I think. I think he's a Rhodian
because he looks like a rodent. Because he looks like a fucking mouse.
No, not Greedo.
Greedo looks like a mouse.
No, he doesn't. What are you on about?
Greedo does look like a mouse.
The green alien with big silver eyes.
He's going to have to be the referee on this.
Looks like a mouse.
Rob is going to Google.
He's Googling Greedo.
He's the one that Han Solo shoots.
Oh man, I was angry about that watching this time as well.
It seemed like this version of it might be slightly different from the 97 version of it, and the shots come right on top of each other.
Yeah.
But it was still bullshit. He looks like a fucking mouse.
I don't know what he looks like.
You know, I can see what you say. He looks like he's gone
like
to
a rodent.
Disney. Looks like he's gone to Disneyland and picked up some Mickey Mouse ears. But
he's got a snout. He's got big eyes, and he's got
mice don't have a snout. They've got a
they
nose.
do.
They've got a pointy nose.
He looks like a mouse.
Well, let us know.
Yeah,
Actually,
in the comments,
right in.
yeah.
It's
He looks more mousy from that
that's
angle.
kind of mousy.
Fucking hell, he's like a
see-
space mouse.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, but just his head. His head is like a mouse or a hedgehog. He's like a hedgehog. We could agree
are they
on hedgehog.
rodents?
I believe they are.
Yeah.
I just want to be like in the same way
So
that
a
Mon
Rhodian.
Calamari is.
Yeah,
a
I hear
ridiculous-
you. I think he's a Rhodian. Well, unless I've got the species wrong, and then I'll be in lots of trouble. But
Well, then I retract the mouse statement.
yeah,
He's a Rhodian bounty hunter
Rhodian.
with
They're
a,
like rodents.
tapir-like snout,
Ah.
bulbous eyes, and pea green skin.
Pea green.
Chewie really stands out as like this alien. We've spent some money on the costume. You
Yeah.
know, it's like
Well, they're like,
in the cantina. You're like,
They're like
oh,
custom
okay.
characters, and then there's like one
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
and a proper NPC.
Like, they're all like low poly, and then Chewie's got had some work
The
done
real
on him.
stuff.
But the canteen is amazing. Obviously, the music is really famous, and the their reaction to the violence in the bar is fantastic. You know, obviously,
twice they just
those guys.
those guys are pricks.
I'm forgetting. Is it Ponda Baba or something? One of them's called, I think.
Do we? Don't give Rob any more reasons to laugh at us. Rob, did you ever watch the Robot Chicken Star Wars version of this scene, where it basically gives the backstory?
Yeah,
to
so
this guy?
good.
It's the guy who he's not actually telling Luke that he hates him.
He doesn't.
So
speak.
the other guy's
He's
trying to
like
think.
trying to stop his friend from.
And he's an
being gay.
architect.
It's very funny.
He's going for a promotion.
Yeah.
And then his drawing arm gets cut off.
I thought that I don't know why, I rethought for the first time in Obi-Wan's just fucking cool as hell in this scene.
Yeah.
Like I know that's
What,
the
his
whole point
negotiate?
of the scene.
Oh, like in both bits.
In
Like
this scene.
first of all, like the way he protects Luke.
Yeah, first of all, he's like, don't worry about this one, let me get you a drink. And they're still pricks, and he just fucks him up.
Yeah.
It's really good. Exactly enough force.
I also like
To stop the
his
situation.
negotiations with Han. Like 2 droids, 2 passengers, and
Yeah.
no questions asked.
Yeah.
Which I really enjoy. And yeah, and we've
like to
meet
avoid
Han and Chewie, of course.
Han just slides in there. He's a bit
so
flash,
good.
isn't he?
My God.
I want to ask Rob for his impressions on seeing Han Solo again for the first time.
It's really hard to think of it as for the first time, though, isn't it? Like,
Of course it is, yeah.
Again, I think he of all the characters immediately has like a swagger and a charisma and a presence about him. Immediately, I think, and even now on first watch, and it's just again, I think it's obviously down to the casting. Harrison Ford. What had he done by this point? I'm guessing
been
he
in-
wasn't like a big star.
He'd
Very
been in
little.
American Graffiti for like 2 minutes or something.
Right.
He was in
I
the
understand.
conversation as well. He's the assistant to Robert Duvall.
He basically had done very little, and he was.
So this was the film that actually made him famous.
Yep.
And it was someone else. I can't remember the name of the guy. Not George Lucas, anyway. Who wanted to cast him as Harrison
Right.
Ford, and he was working as a carpenter. This guy, who must have been involved in the casting, kind of convinced George to let him read as Han Solo for the other auditions. So Luke, all the Lukes came and and Harrison Ford read so that they could had someone to bounce off of, and all the Leias came in or whatever. And eventually just convinced him that this was the guy. And I think he got him to do some carpentry work in his office, and it was as part of a way to convince George Lucas he was this kind of everyman. Like he's like a real guy.
Right,
he's not like a star, like a Hollywood, actor who's coming in. He's just a pretty normal guy, which is why he's going to be so perfect for this role. I love Han Solo, and he's like it struck me how not super handsome he is in this movie yet, considering he's going to become Indiana
Are you
Jones.
fucking kidding?
I'm not fucking kidding. I'm fucking serious. He's going to be so much more handsome in the next movie, and all movies after this time.
I think we should ask people who are attracted to guys.
Rob,
I
think
whether
well, he's not Indiana Jones handsome as Han Solo, is he?
Indy is ridiculous.
Indiana Jones that's peak Harrison Ford.
Yeah, you might.
There's
be
like
right.
there's a youthfulness to him. Like Harrison Ford comes into his own in his 40s and 50s when he gets the sort of the rugged experience look to him. But there's the bad boy swagger that's definitely kind of there, like the outfit, like the little leather sort of vest jacket that he's got on.
He's handsome.
The scowl. He's very handsome. He's sort of I think the remastered scene with Jabba the Hutt's so awful.
Same.
It's so bad.
I mean, I don't think we should talk about it. In my head, it just doesn't exist. It's nonsense.
I can't remember what it looked like originally.
There wasn't one. There wasn't a scene.
with
They
Jabba.
shot a scene with Jabba the Hutt, and Jabba the Hutt was a man.
A large Scottish man.
And that's why at the end of that scene, he says, you're a fantastic human being or whatever, because he was talking to a human being in the original cut. It's a complete nonsense that scene is in there. Yeah. He's just a big, large man in like a vest.
They've done some weird stuff where they've had to move him slightly further away as they're walking past the Millennium Falcon, I think, because the background is blurred in a way which was super obvious to me now.
There's something about the way that Harrison Ford is like gesticulating and pointing to Jabba the Hutt that suggests he is acting with something that's not there. It's all the hallmarks of someone who's acting with something that's going to be digitally implanted later. The way he points at him.
It's because it was never planned to be that way. Like he was acting with a real man. You can see it. You can see that.
Maybe it's because Jabba's in the wrong place for all the things.
When did they put Jabba the Hutt into this film?
For the remaster, for the special editions in '97 or whenever it was.
So originally, when the trilogy was originally released, we don't see Jabba until Return of the Jedi.
Yes, he's spoken about in this movie. Just as you've seen earlier, like tell Jabba I've got the money.
2 movies
never
in,
see him.
They're like, oh, we talked about the crime boss that Han was in Hock to. What does he look like? Well, we did that scene where he was a man, but we cut that out, so let's make him into a giant fucking...
The worst bit is obviously when he stands on his tail.
Terrible.
It's one of the worst things I've ever seen.
It doesn't work. It looks horrendous.
Let's not talk about this scene.
No, we're not talking about that scene. That scene doesn't exist.
That's what Bilbo Baggins hates.
And we can sort of fast forward very slightly to one of the other most incredible characters being introduced in the movie, which is the Millennium Falcon.
I was going to say the Millennium Falcon because I don't know, from forever when I was a kid, the Millennium Falcon is cool.
I know, and I never understood where they it's just a hunk of junk.
No, it's not.
It's unbelievable.
It looks
idiot
wicked.
Boy. It's so good. And even Han Solo seems to know that it's a hunk of junk. He's like, might not look like much, but, it's got to where it counts.
Yeah.
Madness. I love the Millennium Falcon.
Maybe it's a bad design.
What? Well, it's too good.
If it was supposed to look, like something cobbled together.
Right, I see.
It looks
they
like,
made it too.
It looks like the Lamborghini of spaceships.
It does a bit, doesn't it?
I mean, it looks obviously like it's rusty and it's but it looks just so. I don't know if
again,
it's
talking about George Lucas's imagination. He calls one class of spaceship a Corvette, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's just. There's no subtext.
No, there's not.
His brain.
And again, I didn't think about that. About I've made some modifications myself, and George Lucas with his modding cars and things, like a little bit of him.
So much
here
of
as
this.
well.
This is kind of what I meant about that Tom Schomburg. It really kind of gets to that sense of Star Wars as like a version of that, like the mechanical enthusiast, like motorsports racing, like in the garage up to his elbows in oil. Like there's so much of that. And like Luke is that, and he's like, but also Han, and the fact that he loves it's his car, that relationship with your vehicle and stuff. It's embedded.
We should jump back to the Death Star because I think we've seen a little bit more of Princess Leia at this point. And I must have known this at some point, but I forgot. I was like flabbergasted to relearn that Carrie Fisher was 18 in this movie. Yeah. She has got so much presence and disdain for the evil characters. Like she is so far beyond her years.
The more you tighten your grip,
it's like an unbelievable performance that she can do that.
It's funny, and reading her book, she talks about how out of her depth she felt the whole time and how she can't believe it's happening and is she doing a terrible job. And I guess that's just the life of an actor, isn't it?
Yes.
Feeling worried all the time.
Yes.
Even when you're doing great work.
And Alderaan will be destroyed to convince her to give away the position of the rebel base, and I'd never ever for years and years now I had no idea what word she was saying.
Alderaan.
No, Dantooine. They're on Dantooine.
Yeah, not Alderaan.
I was like, what?
Do you know the things I thought about this were I loved the firing sequence and the consoles and the buttons and the visors, and all of the design is brilliant, and it really balances the fact that blowing up an entire planet is a fucking stupid thing to have happen in a movie. You can't just blow up a whole planet.
You can.
With no due process.
They did it.
That's ridiculous.
Well, they've dissolved the Senate. This is it. This is it now. This is what you
Doesn't
got.
check. Do you know, I'd be sending at least the Emperor would be on CC on an email where I was double checking that this was okay. Just even if it's just a heads up. Just FYI, we are going to blow up Alderaan.
Yeah.
We talked about this. I hope that's okay.
What is his end game?
Let me know if this isn't okay.
Like, assuming the rebels don't manage to destroy the Death Star, is he just happy now? Is he just like, great, that's it, I've done it, ultimate power, I've dissolved the Senate,
Fear keeping the local systems in line.
I guess
it's just what it is. Just
what do you do? Get a massage? Don't know, but anyway,
I don't know. Well, do you know, this is why I love Andor, because Andor is like an interrogation of, the manifesto for the rebellion, which comes out in the first few episodes, talks about that level of control and what it's there for and the weaknesses of it, and I think it does add to all of the movies.
It definitely does. The experience of watching Andor and then Rogue One and then this movie and these movies is just fantastic.
Been a great time. I feel so Christmassy. I came in today just so excited to talk about this for absolutely ages.
Yeah.
And that's what we've done.
We have, yeah. And now we've still got quite a way to go.
Blasting through our time limits. But
back on the Falcon, they've escaped quite easily, actually, considering that the Falcon will let them down in future movies quite a bit. It becomes a bit of a running joke that, it's not my fault, blah, blah, blah. They told me they fixed it. They managed to escape the kind of blockade quite quickly, and in hyperspace we see Luke gets his one bit of Jedi training very quick.
It does, and I
Jedi
thought that
training.
Han as the cynic was quite an important balancing point here. Obviously a great sort of character note for him, but also it makes the relationship between Obi-Wan and Luke and the thing that he's trying to convey more precious, because it's in danger of the cynicism which is obviously rampant in a world run by the Empire, I thought.
Yeah.
Loved it.
I agree. It's a nice bit, and obviously, I also enjoy Chewie playing whatever that game is, and being really cross when R2 makes a good move.
Yeah,
and it's just funny where, I just love the shot where Han's like, yeah, but that's because droids don't pull people's arms out of their sockets if they lose. And then it just cuts to Chewie, who's just like smoothing his hair. He's got both his hands behind his head.
That's right.
Like, yeah, we do that.
When we're not being
slaughtered
burned
by Darth Vader.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, we're sad about that. That wasn't so good.
That's why we started ripping arms off, actually.
Yeah.
Because we were so upset about that. I've written the whole sequence on the Death Star is and always has been a favourite of mine. Just when they get to the Death Star. So there's there's no moon. I love the cockpit sequences. I love the sequences in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon, and then I love all of the flying sequences later on. There's something really basic about the dynamism of the camera work, but in a very small way. It'd just be so easy for it to just be locked in, so obvious they just sat in a studio or somewhere, and especially in the X-Wing and sort of small fighter pilot cockpits later on, there's like a constant movement of everything. There's a fluid, a bobbing, but even just the juddering and the sense of being in a vehicle that's in flight in some way.
Yeah,
in Millennium Falcon,
the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon is just unbelievable, and I love how complicated and complex they make it seem to fly it. Like we hear a lot about people being great pilots. Luke's a great pilot, Vader's a great pilot, and Han's a great pilot, and it kind of it seems to mean more in these movies. It's not just I don't know how good you are with a joystick. It's like there's so much to it.
Do you know all the shortcuts on your keyboard for TIE Fighter?
Exactly.
That's what it is.
And I really love seeing that Chewie increasing, or transferring to auxiliary power, whatever it is, pulling that little lever. Like I'm always just like desperately trying to understand the functions of those things around them, just in case I ever got to go in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon, which hasn't happened yet.
And then they get drawn into the Death Star. There are alternatives.
And finally we get a little bit of a sense of the, obviously of the Death Star. We get, they're heading for that small moon, that's no moon. And then we get the sequence of them actually going into the hangars, and
that whole thing is cool. Like just that there's a fighter, the fighter's a long range. Like there's like enough practical concern to it to make it. I mean, it's like really drawing me into the world. At the same time, it's setting up the reveal of holy fucking hell, the Death Star is this unprecedented technical force. This is unreal. It shouldn't exist. Kind of vibes. Yeah. It's great. It's a great little scene. And sorry to interrupt you. That scene of the Falcon being drawn in and we're zoomed out enough that you can kind of see the gateway in and a couple of like, I don't know, like airport workers with their little lights, whatever.
Yeah.
That's taken really specifically from a bit of concept art, I think.
Right.
I remember seeing one drawn by Rap Macquarie, which is like just got that sense of what a space station might look like.
Yeah. And the size of these sets are huge, by the way. Like just seeing, the Millennium Falcon is massive. The hangar bay is massive. Like, Rob sort of pointed out, we don't see we don't go to many different locations in these movies, in this movie maybe, but when we do, like they're really effective. Like, the use of space in particular, it's just fantastic.
I love this whole thing. I used to love Obi-Wan sneaking around. And one of the things which I remember really specifically getting the toys of this, asking for the toys, not knowing whether they existed, and then getting them for Christmas, and it just being the best fucking Christmas.
Yeah.
Which was, I just love Han and Luke dressing up as stormtroopers.
Yeah.
It's just fucking cool.
Did they do toys of that?
They did. I asked for them and then they arrived, man. What a great thing to happen. When as a kid, I want this to exist. It does, and you've got it. Thank you. That's it. I made
yes.
now. The helmets used to come off. That was the only difference between regular
That's
stormtroopers.
Cool. That's really cool. Was Luke a bit short?
I don't know. I can't remember. I hope so.
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing I would now obviously check immediately. But yeah, I love it. I love that every time they take off the helmets, it looks cool. Like, I've got to take this thing off. Like they get into the room, they blast everyone, and then Han's like, "What the fuck are we doing?" But yeah, it just looks cool as hell when he takes it out. It's like slightly sweaty. Obviously, when Luke goes into the cell, that moment really hit me this time. Just Luke Skywalker, I'm here to rescue you. A line which I know forever, but just him taking off the helmet and how cool she is.
Yeah,
like, and she's immediately into it. Obi-Wan, let's go.
Yeah.
So I'm skipping ahead.
I really like the mechanics of this section. It's really clear. Like, I need to go and turn off the tractor beam. You guys hold the fort.
Like the tractor beam is just a button somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And then like, oh, the princess is here. What princess? There'll be money. We're going to rescue the princess. You'll get your money. It's all really clear what everyone's doing. Everybody splits up, and I just think it's just the clarity of it. It's just
a different tone as well. They're sneaking. It's a different sort of sense of excitement to it. I hope we don't want them to get discovered. And
it's been spoken about, Obi-Wan's relationship with Vader, and Vader does his little bit. Like a presence I've not felt since.
Yeah, the pacing on that line always seems slightly off to me. I guess because the VO, it's like, I guess if you're the Green Cross code man, you're just like, I feel a presence I've not felt for, and then just turns away.
Yeah.
And then when you're redubbing that as the actor, James L. Jones.
Yes, indeed.
It's difficult.
And finally, Luke and Han and Leia getting together for the first time. I really felt just a massive shift in the way they all talk to each other, the banter.
And like I said, I think it helps that Ben is out of the way.
Yes.
And it just gives them scope to, like, now suddenly these three young people are on an adventure. Yeah. With their weird big dog and two arguing children.
Well, also, I guess, for the filming experience, being able for them to be able to have space without the probably quite imposing presence of Alec Guinness there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, you just pressure's off a little bit. You don't have to impress Alec Guinness.
Yeah.
Just have some fun yourselves.
Well, it seemed the less timeless bit to me. Like, suddenly I was looking at it thinking, this is much more contemporary to the 1970s of somebody writing young people on an adventure. Like, even where did you dig up this old fossil? It's like a really specific way to talk about an older person.
Yeah.
He's a great man.
Whereas now, like, where'd you get the gammon? Old fossil. fossil.
I noticed for the first, I'm sure that this is obviously very well realised, but I hadn't realised that they say that Chewie's being transferred from cell block 1138.
Oh yeah, yes.
Which is a nice little nod to THX 1138.
Absolutely.
So what? Sorry?
THX 1138, Lucas's first.
This is maybe the
feature.
only Easter egg I've ever noticed by myself when I was
Right.
like at school. I remember fucking telling everybody.
And I always love Han's conversation with
It's just so good.
whoever it
Do you
is.
know what I noticed this time? Just before that happens, they're like, obviously, they're doing a ruse.
Yes.
And the guy's like, well, I'm going to have to clear this. And then the other guys immediately put their blasters up and start walking towards Han and Luke. And then Chewie slaps the guy into the wall.
Yeah.
And one of Han or Luke says, he's loose.
Yeah, look how he's loose. Whilst they're shooting at the bad guys.
It's like, we're just going to keep this going for one
It's
extra
like we
second.
could maybe, this beat will help. Leia, instantly unimpressed by her rescuers,
She's got a point.
figures out how to get them out of there herself.
And again, I was like, I've written down, this feels more like the Goonies, like in terms of the way everyone's sort of talking to each other now that they're all just young people. Into the garbage chute, Flyboy.
Yeah.
That's getting, that's
What
on
an-
one end of the spectrum.
What an amazing new smell you've discovered.
Yes.
It's a line that I always have loved.
There's some
as well.
proper bad stormtrooper shooting on the bit where they're all getting into the garbage chute, isn't there?
They
That is
are
true.
terrible.
Just they've got so much space to just get ready in the middle of the corridor
Yeah.
to then dive down the garbage chute.
Obi-Wan says earlier in the movie, like, these blasters, blast points, too
accurate
for sand people.
Only a
Only the
stormtrooper.
stormtroopers are so precise. And it's like, well, how inaccurate are the sand people? Like, what are they doing?
It's one of the things I really liked about playing Dark Forces, because you get that, I can't remember what it's called. You get the laser gun that the stormtroopers have, and it fires completely fucking randomly.
Right.
Like it's so some of the like it just oscillates between. It never just shoots forward, and it's kind of like, it's almost like, a very subtle, slow joke of I see. No, I guess it just doesn't fire straight.
It's funny actually. There's a tabletop sort of war game called Star Wars Legion, and they address this problem by giving the stormtrooper characters really high accuracy, but the weapons that they use really low accuracy. I don't know how it
same
works, and
vibe.
it's just like, I like that, like true to the canon.
I truly hated the garbage compactor. Just hated it. Just hated.
As a kid, or you mean on this?
No.
on
As a
that?
kid, I hated that he was dragged under the water. And
Horrible.
It was like they're in 2 foot of water, man. Like, he's there. Just fucking pick your friend up. I used to hate it. I used to never want to drown or be dragged under the water by a long snake with an eye.
No, I can never remember what that creature's called, but
There's loads of them in Dark Forces, by the way.
right, okay. Yeah, there is a bit where they just sort of give up.
What kind of name would you make up for it if you had to? Star Wars name for it right now?
Drano.
Yeah, it's like a ice stalker.
Oh, Ice Stalker's not bad.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did give up on Luke quite quickly when he's gone under the water. It's like, I can't see him. I guess he's dead.
That's a shame for
I guess they're not really great friends at this point. But
No.
and obviously C-3PO and R2 are having their own problems, which is why they're not able to shut down all the garbage compactors on the detention level for quite a long time.
I've got to say, for the first time ever, and I don't know if this is something which people have pointed out before, but there's that scene where R2 jacks in, and the angle of it is, you can see the panel and you can see R2, and it's sort of looking slightly down. And it, for the first time ever, it just looked like he was...
Don't say it.
I've written down R2-D2 penis.
Oh, for God's
It's
sake.
like he's just slowly drawing perpendicular a really chunky steel peen. I was a bit disappointed in myself.
Yes,
In the film,
you should be.
but then they saved them anyway. But then they all split up again. I like that. It's moving so much. The tone is so different. Basically, Leia swapped out for Obi-Wan. Someone get this walking carpet out of my way. She's taking charge. There's banter in so many different directions.
Yeah.
And then Han just runs off screaming after some stormtroopers.
He does.
I used to love this section when I was a kid. This whole section, I like that bit where Han is being brave and running off after the stormtroopers. I remember specifically the laugh that me and my friends gave watching this in 97 when we saw it at the cinema, because they have packed out the room.
Yeah.
It used to be like 5 stormtroopers, then
Yeah.
he runs away. And now it's like 20, 30.
Yeah. I think 5 was fine. You know, like...
Same. I think so much of this was fine.
Yeah, it was all fine. We didn't need it to happen.
But the thing I used to love was the Leia and Luke find the controls to extend the drawbridge.
Yeah.
They're coming through.
Yes.
I used to love all of that.
Although I always just thought, if those
They just
stormtroopers
blasted them.
just lay down
Yeah.
when the door starts going up,
Shoot their
you could
legs.
easily just kill those guys.
Shoot the ankles.
Glad they don't do it.
The exchanging volleys of fire with the stormtroopers who are higher up
Yeah.
in another, that just captured my imagination when I was a kid in a way. It was one of my favourite moments in the film.
And Luke
So
with this sort of Goonies-esque grapple on his belt.
Yeah.
Which I don't think... Oh, yeah, we will see it again. I think he does use it. No, I don't know. He don't think he uses it again.
Pincers of Doom? Was that what they're called?
I don't know. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
pincers.
Sorry. Yeah. In the Goonies. Yeah.
I don't think that's what Luke calls it.
No, probably not. But yeah, this is all great stuff. And
It's so good.
Leia gives him a kiss for good luck.
Yeah, I know.
They've only just met.
Which we should
But-
gloss over.
You really want to
I think Obi-Wan could have said something.
live. Yeah, and it's
Not
interesting.
sure everyone knew
I meant to say
during the first film.
No, I don't.
No, I don't think he
I'm
did.
not sure that George Lucas knew.
No.
interesting that Obi-Wan and Luke's relationship has now come to an end as well. They've seen each other for the last time. Well, spoken to each other for the last time by this point. It's just interesting.
It's
that,
crazy how quick it is. Well, there's
Yeah.
that. I didn't want to mention too many memes, but one meme I really do respect is that when they get onto the Millennium Falcon after this, Leia is comforting Luke, and Luke's like just looking sad at the desk. And the caption is, when your entire planet's been blown up, but your new friend's mentor that he met 2 days earlier has also died.
That's right.
Men just being sad about bullshit.
But I think it's hard to really imagine a planet being destroyed, isn't it? Even if you saw it, I think you'd be like, no, I just don't get it.
No.
I don't get
Everything well, it's like a million voices cried out at once.
And we're suddenly silenced. Yeah, it is. And did you know, Rob, that it was not the original plan for Obi-Wan to die? And by original
Didn't
plan,
know
I
that.
mean that was decided during production. They were shooting this movie, and George Lucas changed his mind and had to say to Alec Guinness, I think I'd actually quite like to kill your character. And I think Alec Guinness was a consummate professional about it, and was was at first a bit like, I don't get to be one of the heroes at the end of the movie, and I don't even get like a great death scene. I mean, he just disappears.
His death scene is fucking brilliant.
Wow, there we go.
I really came out to bat for it in my viewing. Everyone talks about how the lightsaber battles in the new movies are so much better choreographed, and I think certainly in the sequels they are, and even in the TV shows. I also think there's like a limit post-Matrix. There's this bar which is very, like, make everything look fucking brilliant, and
We've got that friggin' scene in the Hobbit movies where Elrond and Saruman and is it Galadriel?
That's where you end up.
Have a Matrix fight with some ring wraiths.
awful.
It was really bad.
Truly awful. And I think
there's that fan made modern version of this fight, isn't there? Which is just shit. Have you seen this?
No.
Where it's like Alec Guinness and Darth Vader doing more modern Star Wars moves.
I've seen it.
And it's stitched together with original footage. Just prolongs the duel and makes it more in keeping with what modern Star Wars lightsaber duels look like. And it's awful.
Do you know, I actually really enjoyed, we'll get there, but I really enjoyed the fight in The Phantom Menace.
That's the best Star Wars duel. And I think it's the only good, proper, ambitious and
How do you top it? That's the hard thing.
acrobatic Star Wars duel.
And I think you don't top it by being even more acrobatic.
No. But then that duel is good not because of the, acrobaticness of the action, is it? I mean, we'll talk about that when we get to The Phantom Menace.
Well, I thought it was good because it built on this. Yes, partly the acrobaticness, but also, because of what's going on in the scene. And that is the reason I really enjoyed this. I thought Guinness is the only human being in this scene because the other person is just a big suit of armour. And I just had a newfound love of... I wasn't like, I'm watching this shit, slow fight and I'm enjoying it. I got a sense of... It's a mental battle. They're talking to each other about... Guinness is just... Obi-Wan is just unfazed. Vader is more powerful. Guinness is already, like, Obi-Wan's already made up his mind about what he's going to do, asserts all of the philosophical points that are important to what he's teaching Luke. And there's an intensity on his face, really. That's the thing that got me. That I think Guinness knew that what the fight needed, and that that there wasn't a huge amount going on action-wise. It's a fairly, standard sort of bit of sparring or fencing. And his face being locked in the way that it is. And then especially once his job is done and he knows that Luke and the others are going to escape, and he smiles and then turns. The whole thing landed for me so hard. I think because I was enjoying Guinness more than I had done for maybe ever and for a long time. It's like it just... I don't know, the fight sort of in the whatever dialogue there is, and it is a bit cliched, but it's about sort of, weakness and sacrifice and power, and then it just really lands it on that moment. And the fact that he disappears is fucking strange, but
maybe
I really liked it.
Maybe he wasn't physically there at all.
You mean he was using force be in one place?
Using force projection somewhere else.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The only other example I could think of is someone turning into just some clothes and disappearing.
That's true.
That's what was going on.
Maybe he's in a McDonald's on Coruscant City, and he's just, he's got a cheeseburger, and he's slumped down in his fries.
He's got his feet up in Luke's house next to the charred bodies of Owen.
That's
and
where
Baru.
he's been the whole time.
That's where he's been. Yeah.
And this doesn't kill him because he's stronger than Luke was.
Every time he force projects himself somewhere, a human has to be stripped of their flesh.
Yeah.
So that's
how he manages to do
It
it.
fuels the power.
He's using them as batteries. That makes loads of sense.
Just to say, I also just the actual moment of his death really hit me this time. The look across to everybody to see that they're there and they're going to escape, and then the sort of very small smile that he gives, not Vader, just himself, I think, of just like, my work is done.
Yeah.
Is just perfect.
Genuine acceptance. All the things which she's trying to teach is so good. And I just want to, last word on Guinness in this film, it's like I said, it's such a clash of one style of performance and another, and also we've seen it in other films which we enjoy and love a lot, where you get an established performer like that. This moment is ridiculous. The whole film is ridiculous when you're, especially the first time you ever sort of conceive it or watch it, and the two things just kind of collide, and I just think the moment is extraordinary. I love it. It's great. And I also always used to love this bit of shooting when I was a kid, just announced by Luke's shrieking no.
Yeah.
And then just starting to shoot everyone. Gets really angry.
Yeah. It's great.
And then shoots the doors.
He does. And they escape in the Falcon, and they have this very small battle, which I also always loved. The gunnery positions, the way that you see the sort of UI of the guns, and the way that their seat, it's like a ride at Disney, the way that the seats move.
They go
with
in,
the
and one of
guns.
them goes up and one of them goes down, but
Yeah.
then they're able to look at each other in a way which suggests that gravity is reoriented for them both.
It does, yeah.
Which is
so.
cool.
That's what I assume
That must be
happens.
what happened.
Don't get cocky, kid.
Yeah.
Just love this bit, and Leia's wisdom of they let us get away.
Yeah.
It's the only explanation, and they did. They're being tracked.
They only
and
have to shoot 4 ships.
Yeah,
That's not right.
the rebel base is found.
It's in Yavin. Well, it's on one of the moons of Yavin.
Yeah, and again,
One of
Rob, I
those
don't know if
trees.
you know that originally the plan, and I think this is how they shot it. The plan was that the Death Star was not coming to threaten the rebel base at the end of this movie.
I do know this.
They were just going to go and attack it because they had the plans, and that I believe that was a Marshall Lucas inspirational.
I see.
Was that they needed the sort of the pressure of the Death Star being there, and once you know that, you can really see it. Like that story is only told through some
Cushing.
graphics that
They did.
they've picked. There's some voiceover. There's like an announcer going like. Rebel base in range in 2 minutes, and you just see Peter Cushing stood there, always sort of just looking and thinking.
Yeah.
There is. I did know that, and I was looking out for it this time, because there is no line of dialogue that you see between any human characters about the Death Star going to attack the rebel base.
No,
and it is just that creeping graphic of it appearing beyond whatever is in its way.
It's so strange.
And yeah, I think that whole bit from escaping from the Death Star to this bit felt like I could almost feel the problems in the editing room, and then trying to come up with a solution. Like, how do we just finish this film? Like, it's okay. We can add this little bit of peril here. And it's sort of stitched together in quite a, I think the whole film doesn't feel like a luxurious blockbuster sci-fi movie to me, like a Star Wars movie now would. It's got like a pleasing, almost homemadeness to it. Like it's sort of like one of George Lucas's cars, or Anakin's pod racer. It's sort of like cobbled together, and we'll take something from here and put it over here, and wrap it all together and tie it up, and it looks a bit dirty, but it works.
It's so funny.
It's going to get us across the line.
I don't even think I noticed that. I've heard that fact before and then forgotten it, and I don't think I noticed it at all. And actually, one of the things which they must have invented for it, which is that graphic, and also just that bit of sort of distorted. The rebel base will be in range, and behind that, a sort of quite downbeat bit of music, and that sort of punctuates. There's like little moments of pausing in the battle scene, and then lifting up, cutting back to the dogfighting. So interesting to know that was all invented. There is that line from Moff Tarkin where he says, "Evacuate in our moment of triumph."
Yeah, I was just thinking about that one line.
But then maybe the moment of triumph is just they're going to come here and we're going to fucking blow them up.
Yeah,
fuck them.
Yeah,
Vader will sort them out. One quick thing about the briefing itself, as you said, they pronounce Leia's name wrong. But apart from that, is and I'm sure this has been remarked upon before. The person next to Luke says 2 meters, and then Luke says, I used to bullseye womp rats back home in my T-16.
Yeah.
They're not much bigger than 2 meters. So Luke was killing animals larger than 2 meters.
Yes, he was.
So he's shooting giraffes or something. What the fuck is he doing?
Yeah.
And if they're rats that are bigger than 2 meters, I don't want them anywhere near me.
Yeah, I know. Well, they definitely want rats. Whether they look like rats, I don't know. But
maybe they're like Greedos.
Maybe they look like Greedos. Yeah, exactly.
I guess that's why he was shooting them.
Yeah, from his T-16. I think a T-16. I think we do see one at some point.
But in a video game.
Right, there you go.
Yeah,
it's like a little shuttle.
I think maybe they're in Rogue Squadron.
Right. Sure. Yeah, I love this briefing again. We talk about sort of like the cleanliness of it, the brilliant graphic of just like what has to happen. Just setting up. This is what the movie is now. Like one of these ships has to get to this thing and. That'll blow it up. Yeah. That's the plan.
Like the little thing falling downwards. Things move really quickly as well after the briefing. That's kind of what I mentioned earlier on. Like the briefing really sticks in my mind, but then suddenly they're all getting ready in the hangar. I've always found Harrison Ford, when he has to tell Luke, may the force be with you, is like he's really trying to swallow a smirk. And I don't know if it's deliberate and that's what Han would be thinking, or whether it's just this line is shit.
I don't know. I bought it. I definitely bought it this time. I thought he's trying really hard to be nice, even though we know he thinks it's bullshit. He's like, this is how well I wish you. Look, I'm saying the thing that I think is bullshit, and I think he's trying to do a genuine smile of like warmth.
But I like the ambiguity.
I really like the way he's piling. He's packing the cash, and Chewie obviously says something to him, and he's like. I know what I'm doing. Yeah. I love that little conversation.
What did you think of the reintegrated Biggs scene in the hangar, Dave?
Not a huge fan of it.
I've written, do I like this? With a question mark.
I didn't like it, I guess when I say not a huge fan of it. I quite
like this one.
But I don't know. Biggs is just... it's a weird thing to try and like retcon, to try and make, I guess, Biggs' death a little bit more
when I was a kid, it was always quite tantalising, the idea that they obviously knew each other, but that moment where Biggs dies is never really that sad.
No.
There's a little bit of sad music that plays. I don't think the dialogue here is the strongest, but I've written down the last line, which is "They'll never stop us."
Yeah.
Which is just quite nice.
It's nice.
I quite like that.
But it actually makes it a bit worse that Biggs dies and Luke doesn't really seem to care or notice.
He's locked in.
But then they land and everyone's just like, yeah.
Consistent with his character.
With Luke's character.
That's true.
Yeah, from
I hope
killing
Biggs
Womp.
has become a burned corpse.
That's right. Yeah, just another Womp rat.
I've just talked about again. My note is about it when they start flying and them going and like everyone fucking leaving. It's just brilliant. I just love it. Like that shot of the waves of
Over the canopy.
ships. Yeah, heading out. That guy's just got a big stick in his crow's nest. Don't know what the stick's for.
Pointing.
The star field in the background is moving. Actually, I was going to mention it. The thing I really loved about the fight when the 4 TIE fighters come after the Millennium Falcon is those gunnery positions. They're a lot like sort of anti-aircraft positions, right? That's kind of what they're based on, and they've got like this real sense of like movement, and they're turning, and then the shots of I don't know if it was in the original or whether I have to give credit to the special edition, but the shots of the TIE fighters banking across the line of sight, and the camera then sometimes moves across the gunnery positions as well. It's just, you have to credit either Lucas or whoever it was who put that stuff together. It's making stuff that could seem like a World War II movie look absolutely incredible. And yeah, the cockpits just feel so fucking alive and real. And I part of me thinks Lucas is like trying to get across that feeling of this is what it's like when you drive a really fucking fast car. This is what that sense of like speed and motion feels like, and just credit it. It's like better than anything I've seen, and I can't believe how old the movie is and how well these bits hold up.
What genius kind of idea for each of these ships, talking about the X-Wings, to have a droid on board as well, and R2 going with Luke on this mission. I don't know, it just seems like a brilliant bit of just a choice. The X-Wings have droids in them.
A little space. The toys used to have a little space for the R2 toy as well. Yeah,
it's just great. And obviously R2's going to go everywhere with Luke, and they're going to have a real kind of friendship after these movies, which I love. And I forgot that R2 gets absolutely fried in this battle by Vader.
Yeah, he does.
Buys C-3PO. Buys Luke a little bit of extra time.
It's very sad.
C-3PO does a look at Leia at that point, which I just love as well.
Is he all right?
He loves R2.
Sad, isn't it?
He's really mean to him, but he loves it.
Surely Darth Vader would have remembered when R2 was in his spaceship when they were
That's true.
fighting together.
I know that squeak.
I guess that there are a million
there's
blue
R2.
droids.
Maybe
might be my son.
I take it back. Darth Vader's really evil.
Well, did he look out across the hangar and see C-3PO, who he built from scratch?
God, that's
climbing up into
the droid I built when I was a boy.
Yeah. To be fair, he didn't put any gold paneling on him, so I don't know if he would recognise him.
He's been blinged out.
Yeah,
he's been on Pimp My Ride.
It's too much, isn't it? How much all of those characters know each other and used to hang out together when they were younger.
It's
bullshit.
It's too perfect and actually quite imperfect. So
it's the toys in the box.
Yeah, very much so. It's hard to talk about this battle. There's so much.
The sound of the radio is great.
The sound is fantastic.
Wedge
the visuals, the close up of the Death Star.
What's the porky one called? Porky
Porkins.
Yeah.
That's bad as well, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah.
I got a problem here.
You call the mouse alien a rodent, and you call the squid alien a fucking Mon Calamari, and you call the large guy Porkins.
Yeah.
That's George.
I love his death, and I love that he's just like, no, I'm all right. He's so good.
He's an obstinate man.
I need a Porkins gif. I've tried to use it several times for when people are disillusioning themselves with a situation.
Right.
I was like, I'm all right. I think Biggs tells him to eject, which is interesting. Is that a
heard
thing?
that this time for the first time.
Into space.
Yeah, I know. Like, kill yourself.
Any other What? Any other plans there, Biggs?
Yeah.
Is there an alternative to ejecting?
What's the best version of that is there's some sort of spacesuit that he has. He ejects, and then he's next to the Death Star that blows up. It's not going to work.
It's definitely fucked.
It's not going to work.
Well, maybe there are other pilots who have ejected who are just orbiting the Death Star waiting to explode.
Yeah. I love all the snatches of dialogue here. To pick up your visual scanning.
Yeah.
They came from behind.
Coming in from 0.35.
Yeah.
That's where they always come from. I will say the construction of it that I noticed this time is stronger than ever is how the scene repeats basically 3 times and is teaching us what is going to happen to Luke and what the stakes are and where the dangers come in. They always come from exactly the same. And I'm like, Are they looping back?
Yeah.
Darth
I know.
and his like TIE interceptors or whatever they are.
Could we not have a second group of rebel fighters who go behind the
Yeah.
TIE fighters?
I love the towers going quiet every time.
Yeah.
It's so good. I love, like I said, the construction of the analog audio noises from the radio as they kind of hit the bass. And interesting, you were talking about the editing, and because we talk about like the urgency given to all Hollywood narratives or all narratives by a countdown, and how many of them have got deadlines as like a framing device. And so you've got that deadline of the Death Star coming in range of the Rebel base, and then also in specific moments of the scene coming into the corridor and starting the attack run, and then you have another countdown on the targeting computer.
Yeah.
It's like just incredibly focused and intense.
Everything is like, down to the wire. It's all very like, which, a split second stuff. Who's going to manage to just get their thing done just in time? It's so brilliant. I love it. I love Vader and his special TIE fighter.
Yeah, it's not quite a TIE Advanced, is it?
No.
Although I think one of the games I played had like basically that version, and it was like a prototype.
And he's got these two other guys with him who aren't allowed to do anything. He's like, I'll shoot them.
Yeah.
And they're just like, yeah, okay, we'll just hang out.
That one guy really fucks it.
He does.
As well. Just freaks out when Han Solo arrives.
Yeah.
You get
What?
any little burst of joy, Rob, from seeing the Millennium Falcon turn up to save the day at the end of the film?
Not especially. No. Look, this I don't know. I can't
We're gonna have to
explain
do
why,
6
but
of
it just
these.
doesn't 6.
Well, yeah, there's 6 films, aren't we, doing the prequels as well? I don't expect you to love the prequels. I just mean, what's your favourite Star Wars film?
Shouldn't we ask him that at the end? We'll ask it, what do you think it is now?
The
And we'll
Empire
ask you again at
Strikes
the end.
Back.
The Empire Strikes Back.
All right, cool. Well,
Okay.
I look forward
Checks
to
out.
watching that then.
Checks out.
Yeah.
I personally obviously love Han Solo coming back. I
Do you like that he
desperately
says
try to forget it.
Yahoo or
yeah,
yippee? What does he say?
I do. Yeah, he's like woohoo.
Yeah.
And then he says an amazing line, I think. You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home.
Oh, that's a great line.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Just brilliant. And Luke, we haven't talked about Obi-Wan,
dropping in on the comms.
Drop it, Luke. Trust your feelings. Luke. Stop using the computer, Luke.
And once again, I've seen just other perspectives on this scene where people are like, so imagine you've worked for years to get the plans to build the base. This new kid comes in from a farm planet and he's the only one left. And as he's finalizing your plan, he turns off his computer.
Yeah.
You'd be a bit more than, are you all right?
Luke,
You'd
you've turned off your targeting
Fuck
computer.
me, man. Please shoot the
as
thing.
soon as
please.
he's like, I'm all right. I'd be like,
Okay.
do you want to turn the targeting computer
is
back
the
on?
signal wrong? What's
Please.
going on?
It's okay. I'm using the Force. Oh God. Oh God. We're all dead.
I think I just got this.
yeah.
But he does it though.
He does it.
He does got this.
That
He does it.
concern will only have lasted for 10 seconds or so.
And if those guys had been just a little bit more hasty in the Death Star, they could have got a final shot off at the Rebel base as well.
Yeah.
He's like, you may fire when ready.
Yeah,
And
he
they're
should have
like,
been not, you may
which
fire
one
when
is it?
ready.
And it's like, it's that one.
He should have been.
It's
Do you know
that
what?
one.
It's like the laser in Halo.
Yeah.
It's get ready to fire so that as soon as we're around the corner, you can let it go.
Yeah.
Don't do all the build up.
Can you not dial the first, 8 buttons and then just have the one guy waiting with the like?
This is the problem with people, isn't it? They're it's like when you're behind someone in the queue
Yeah.
at Old McDonald's. When you went to,
Old
when you went to
McDonald's
actually
before the
do the
computers.
order,
Right.
and someone would get to the front of the queue, and then they'd think about what they wanted.
awful.
Do you know what?
They're like, "Fuck you,
I
man."
went to a garden centre the other day. It was the worst experience I've had in a long time. It was packed. It's like a Christmas garden centre.
Ugh.
We went to the cafe for lunch, and I was stood in a queue for no joke 15 minutes to get to order my food. And the woman in front, there was like a small family in front, and they were complaining about how long the queue was. And then we got to the order, and they went, "What can I get you?" And she went,
No.
and I was like, "Are you serious?
That is wild.
You've just been complaining about
You are the problem.
You're your own problem."
And of course you said something.
I didn't. I just sort of sighed, I think, to myself.
Do you know, this is why QR code ordering on your own, I think that saves everyone a load of time obviously in the queue, doesn't it? Like you forcing people to do their own thinking on their own term.
Although
the amount of car parks I've turned into recently where I seem to be behind someone experiencing a car park for the first time as well.
Yeah.
Just drives me mad. It's the Bath Christmas Market and the park and ride
it's bad.
car park, man. It's just
Yeah. Matthew Castle pointed out to me though that the this friend of ours and
Friend of the pod.
back page pod mentioned before that he thinks that the QR the computer ordering now at fast food places actually it takes longer for food to come out because people are more like they see more of the menu and they're like, oh, I might try this. You know, they're not just going quarter pounder with cheese, Big Mac meal, whatever. It's like they're scrolling through and going, oh, shall I have a side?
I'm not.
And then the computer asks you stuff. It's like, hey, do you want some onion rings for a change?
I could do it blindfold. I could shut my eyes and go through.
Shall we?
He's doing it now.
Shall we have a McDonald's immediately after this?
I've been thinking for a while I might go to KFC after this. I'm starving. But we got to finish this movie.
We got so close to the end of the movie.
I know.
And we started talking about
the end of the movie.
That was all great banter.
Rob, tell us why you love the ceremony scene.
I love it, especially because I imagine the scene without any music on.
Do you imagine it, or have you seen it on
one of
a
the best
video?
videos I've ever seen online?
It's so
I think
good.
it's Oral Noughts, isn't it?
It is.
It's
We
Star
should
Wars without Williams.
Explain, there's a Oral Noughts video where they take the music away and do the Foley of what that scene would sound like.
Yes.
And it is brilliant.
It is brilliant, and I couldn't help but think of it when I watched it this time.
I also thought of it.
And even with the Williams music, I don't know, it's because I've seen this video now, it still seems slightly odd. Scene.
There's no one says why they're there, or no one goes, we're gathered here to honour these
the
heroes who've they're just handing out some medals. But it doesn't matter because John Williams is playing and it's amazing, and I'm trying not to cry.
But it's the Chewbacca dub in the Oral Noughts video. It's perfect. And it's the one at the end where they all turn around and it's just a little plaintive.
I like the little just clanking of the droids as well.
God, the reason it's so good is obviously it reveals to us that scene that we have accepted for decades is absolutely batshit. But the thing which I thought, and then in its defense this time I was watching it just going, it has like a sense of, like in a similar way, I guess, to the droids or Chewbacca, it is showing, it is, what am I saying? It's like, not like a silent movie, but it's, it's a bit of visual storytelling. It's not, and there is no logic to the scene. It's it's just, it's madness.
And it gets us out. We need to get out of here. We can't really do it on the hangar like everyone just going, yay, we did it. You can't do it before that with the Death Star blowing up. Like, there needs to be some sense of closure. They need something. And obviously I think the real nice reveal for me is R2 being, because he's fried, like absolutely destroyed.
There's a little camera move, isn't there? Or someone moves out the way. And
there's like, it's mostly we're looking at C-3PO and then the camera sort of pulls back and he's there and he's okay. Anymore. The music's amazing and the movie's done. And again, with that sort of fanfare. It
is revealing of where the film lives in terms of its sensibility. That it would end with handsome young people smiling in self-congratulation. It's kind of like, it's so broad. It's so like, and the good guys did it and we're all okay. And I guess,
where's like Wedge, who was also he's survived. He's also there.
He put so much feeling into being sorry that he has to leave.
Yeah.
You can't do any more good back there. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, Luke actually fired the thing that destroyed the Death Star, so he definitely gets a medal. And Han,
how long has Luke been with the rebellion? About 2 weeks.
They've both been here. I mean, Han's not even in the rebellion. I don't know. He's more of a pirate.
He keeps
character,
talking about money,
but he's turned up. So that medals for
robots,
them.
Does
Chewie get a medal because he was in the? No, Chewie doesn't get a medal. No. He's a Wookiee. Medals are for humans.
Yeah,
that's important. We may be a rebellion, but we're also racist rebellion. And we've done it. We've done Star Wars: A New Hope, and
Palpatine's voice now. You and your racist rebellion.
And a new multi-billion-dollar franchise was born.
It was,
and I, for one, am fully invested in it.
Well, this
Yoda's not even in it. Palpatine's not even in it. Like the big hitters are still to come.
The big hitters. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I mean, yeah, there's loads still to come.
What that says to me is that there was still excellent creative invention after this first film.
Yeah.
And I'm not, it's one of the things I like about going back. And like you said, Rob, like just talking about what did they actually know? What was true? Vader was not the same character he then turns out to be in the rest of the movies in this film. And that is interesting to me. But then you kind of see it for the achievement that it is. Like, I think the cast is super young and interesting. Like you said, the dynamics between the characters are really interesting. The aesthetic of it, the style of it, it's really incredible. The sound and the look of the film.
And holy shit, just 4 years until Empire, but the visuals are going to be upgraded massively. The things they're doing with the ships, 3 years. The things they're doing with, I thought it was 81. Is it 80?
81 is Indiana Jones.
And it was the things they're doing with the ships.
I came out in
particular.
Very, very literally.
Okay. It's just amazing. It's such an exciting time. I wish I could have experienced Star Wars as it happened and been a part of it. But then I'd also now be really old. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So
sorry if you're that old and you're listening because you like Star Wars and Dave's just been incredibly rude to you.
Would you believe that we pretended that to ourselves that we might possibly do this episode in an hour?
I wonder if other people are waiting for us or what meetings I should have had.
I hope that you've enjoyed listening to this episode, really the first episode of Star Wars now, episode 4, A New Hope. And will let us know your thoughts on the movie on Patreon or wherever you can get in touch. Don't forget you can email us. I'll say this all in a minute. Yeah. And join us next week as we get to Rob's favourite Star Wars movie, Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. I wonder how that'll go for the rebellion. You've been listening to Red Shirt Cinema Club. If you enjoyed the episode, consider supporting us on Patreon, where you can unlock 2 bonus episodes every month. And we'd love to hear from you. Email us at redshirtcinemaclub@gmail.com. See you next week.